Sal's decorated her whole house in camouflage.
Lovely.
Even her dog Billy has a camo coat. After her renovation, she transferred her other balances onto a new Barclaycard Platinum credit card, so she'd pay no interest on balance transfers for up to 29 months. Now she's found a way to pay down her debt. Sadly, she can't find anything else. Billy? What you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. Check if you're eligible at barclaycard.co.uk. Barclaycard. Make money work for you. Representative example, 24.9% APR representative variable, 24.9% purchase rate per annum variable, based on a £1,200 credit limit. A balance transfer fee applies, subject to application, financial circumstances and borrowing history. New customers only. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast with lookers.co.uk. Buy or sell your vehicle the simple way. Visit them online today. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as the top flight teams return for the Scottish Cup fourth round. It's game on at Dumbarton after a pitch inspection ahead of the visit of Rangers later. Before we get to that, various Premiership teams out to avoid the embarrassment of a cup shock. Aberdeen are already through, and holders Celtic welcome Buckie Thistle tomorrow. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me in the studio, men who've seen a fair few cup shocks in their time: Gordon Daziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
Could there be a cup shock on the card? Spartans against Hearts. It's 1-1. 3 minutes of added time have just been put up on the electronic board. How much the Hearts miss Superman Lawrence Shankland. He's not in the squad today. He is apparently ill, and they are suffering without him. It's 1-1. The Scottish Cup, as will be the case at every tie today, the Scottish Cup does not respect your stature, the league you play in. If you come up short on the day, you may very well be out on your ear. And Hearts are looking at extra time.
Yeah, we love the fourth round of the Scottish Cup when the big teams come in, and we all love an underdog story and where the shock is going to be. Wasn't to be for Clyde last night. We've got another 14 fixtures today and then one tomorrow that no one can foresee a shock in that, but there might be one or two along the way today, like you said, starting with Spartans v Hearts that's currently ongoing in 1-1.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a shock.
No, reverse that.
Take that back. Hearts have snatched it. It is heartbreak for the Spartans. 92 minutes on the clock, and it looks like Hearts will go through and not have to face an extended afternoon against their city rivals. Frankie Kent doesn't score too many, but he takes the applause of his team. Anyway, we park that for now, Gordon, because whether it happens here or not, or whether there are any shocks at all, we still absolutely love this weekend of the Scottish football calendar.
Yeah, as a supporter, as a player, as someone involved in football, the Scottish Cup special, Gordon, all the rounds. You want to get into the next round, the excitement of sitting there watching the draw live to see who you're going to get. You want to go as far as you possibly can in the competition. We will get a shock somewhere. Of that there's no doubt, and I think there's plenty of terrific games this afternoon.
Yes, strap yourselves in, because this weekend rarely disappoints in terms of drama and talking points. So you can stay in touch all afternoon on Twitter. I'll give you the nod later on. When we look to open those phone lines, we can look back on last night's game. We've got games to preview tomorrow. It's all set against the backdrop of the transfer window as well. What more could you want? Clyde One Super Scoreboard here until 6 o'clock. The top flight teams are back from their warm weather training camps. The winter break is a thing of the past, and it is full steam ahead into Scottish Cup fourth round weekend. It does look like Hearts are about to join Aberdeen in tomorrow night's draw. And then after that, a whole host of exciting games. There was a bit of pitch inspecting to be done at Dumbarton, as I mentioned in the headlines. That has been passed. Rangers game there will go ahead as planned later on this afternoon. But before we do any of that, some fantastic fixtures to get through in the 3 o'clock games. Let's start with Motherwell against Alloa. David Friel. Where's Andy Halliday? That's the question everyone's asking.
Well, I'll start by telling you, Gordon, that the Andy Halliday bench cam has moved to Motherwell, but to be fair to Andy, I think it's only a matter of time before he becomes a regular in the Fir Park team. Motherwell's January signing. He's straight into the squad 24 hours after completing his move from Hearts. Good move for both parties, I think. I'm sure he's likely to make his debut at some point today. Andy will bring energy, experience, quality, enthusiasm. I'm sure he'll help the likes of young Lennon Miller, who's back on the bench today. Good news from Motherwell. And a couple of weeks of difficult news. Adam Montgomery's also arrived. I said that was the kind of good news for Stuart Kettlewell, but it's been a difficult couple of weeks for Motherwell. Brodie Spencer recalled by Huddersfield. Callum Slattery ruled out for the season. Then Mika Bires surprisingly recalled by Arsenal to go to Sturm Graz. I was out here on Thursday morning seeing Stuart, and I don't think I've ever seen a manager look more disappointed and a bit shocked to lose a player as he was that day. He's also without Ollie Shaw, John Obika, Dan Casey and Shane Blaney today, and that means Motherwell have only one fit striker in their squad in Theo Bair. He's in form, but he's going to have to do the legwork today, Theo Bair. Against the backdrop of that inspired Taylor Swift public appeal for investment by the Motherwell board, it's just been a series of disappointments for Stuart Kettlewell, but he's going to have to shake it off, if you pardon the pun, and get back to business with a really tricky looking cup tie against a good Alloa team. League One side of a difficult season. They lost manager Brian Rice to Livy, but replaced him with Andy Graham, a club stalwart, but they currently sit 5th in League One, unbeaten in the last 6. They're playing quite well just now. They have massive experience like Sir Scott Taggart, Stephen Skugel, Connor Salmon, along with some talented kids like young Quinn Coulson and Taylor Stephen, who is on loan from St Johnstone. Motherwell, I was quite surprised at this. They've only met Alloa 12 times in their history, and they've never lost in 90 minutes against them. However, the last meeting came in August 1996 in a Coca-Cola Cup tie at Fir Park, and Alloa won in penalties after a 0-0 draw. They were a third division team at that time. Motherwell were a Premier League team, so I'm sure the Wasps will be dreaming of a repeat of that today. I'll go through the teams. Motherwell looks like a 3-4-2-1. Liam Kelly in goal, Stephen O'Donnell, Bevis Mugabe and Paul McGinn. Now Motherwell have shaped up that Adam Montgomery, who's a left-sided player, is going to be playing right wing back, so I'll take their word for it. Callum Butcher, Davos Dravkowski and Georgie Gent. Harry Payton and Blair Spittle in behind Theo Bair. Oxborough, Maguire, Halliday, McDermott, Wells, Luca Ross, Max Ross Williamson and young Lennon Miller. Great to see him back, make up the subs. As for Alloa, just looking through their team just now, PJ Morrison, he's in goals. He spent about a decade at Motherwell as a kid. Scott Taggart, David Mackay, Morgan Neal, Cammy O'Donnell, Stephen Harrington, Curtis Roberts, Taylor Stevens, Stephen Skugel, Quinn Coulson and Connor Salmon up front. The subs for Alloa are Ogaye, Devaney, Colley, Donnelly, Virtanen, Roy, Buchanan, John Robertson and Josh DeBayo. The referee is John Beaton and there is no VAR.
Are you at the venue of the Scottish Cup 4th round shock? David Friel, there's usually one. People always try and identify it. You look at top flight teams that aren't flying, you look at lower league teams going there. Any chance where you are?
I don't think so, but Motherwell's striking crisis has made me fear from a tiny bit if they don't go off to a good start. You know, Connor Wilkinson was also sold in the window. They've lost Biret. You know, they don't have Obika, they don't have Ollie Shaw, so it's going to be Theo Bair. They're obviously missing Callum Slattery. You know, Motherwell have got a lot of problems right now. I think Stuart Kettlewell wants to get at least another couple of players in, probably 3 or 4 in before the window. I think they should have too much just about for Alloa today, but Alloa, as I said, they've got experience, they've got youthful players. They will make it hard for Motherwell today.
Chances of a shock in Lanarkshire?
Well, David Friel just delivered the least convincing I don't think so. So therefore he's not ruling out the possibility. And when I saw the pained expression on your face, Gordon Duncan, when the number of injuries was read out, there has to be a possibility. I only regret that Motherwell did not approach Joni Mitchell instead of Taylor Swift, because I don't know any Taylor Swift songs, and David Friel stuck in a Taylor Swift song there. I just wanted to say, Motherwell, I've asked Joni Mitchell to send a big yellow taxi for Andy Halliday.
Any chance of a shock there?
Absolutely not.
Really?
No,
that confident? Okay.
I'm very confident, and I know the problems they've got up front, but I think they've got enough. They should have enough, Gordon. It's at Fir Park. If you're at Alloa, then you're maybe thinking, oh, this could be tricky in the pitch. They're away from home. Their form hadn't been that great this season. They've lost their striker. Slattery's out. But no, I think Fir Park, perfect pitch. Motherwell should have plenty in the tank to win that.
I think when you look at the previous 2 games that Motherwell played, away Easter Road, at home to Livingston, Theo Bair in amongst the goals, I'd be a lot more concerned as a Motherwell fan if he wasn't there, and you're kind of got a makeshift striker up there. I think they're in a better place than they were about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Go back to that Spartans game. You know, they've just get through Hearts, and the look on Stevie Naismith's face told the full story. He was disgusted by what he had witnessed for 95 minutes. And Frankie Kent has got him out of jail. And that's how much, if you don't have your top man, that's how much Hearts miss him. And Motherwell will miss Beereth and then some.
Yeah, but it's a Fir Park, Hugh. I think there's a difference. Going there, that's always got to be tricky. On the pitch, they'll make it stuffy. They got a terrific goal, gives them great confidence. Yes, I would probably say Hearts were well below par and poor, and I don't think Stephen Naismith will be happy. But you're looking at Alloa going to Fir Park. I know Motherwell's problems, but surely still got enough.
Spoken like three men who were not scarred as 5-year-olds by that penalty shootout defeat in the Coca-Cola Cup that David Friel mentions. A little bit of symmetry in this one. We know there are lots of links between Motherwell and St Mirren in terms of personnel. Alloa and Queen of the South played each other in League One last weekend, so you can see the similarities in terms of level, and the man for that occasion there is Fraser Wishart.
Yes, I am here watching St Mirren, one of my old teams, against Queen of the South. One of my old teams was Motherwell. Gordon, that game you spoke about, I actually played in that game, so still got the scars and the memories from that defeat on penalty kicks to Alloa when I was playing for Motherwell. But conditions here are perfect, to be honest with you. Tam Docherty, the groundsman, he was here when I played, has got the ground in good nick after all the bad weather. Wind's getting a wee bit stronger though, and it will be stronger, so hopefully it won't ruin a game, because of course on paper the Premiership club against a League One club, St Mirren should progress into the 5th round. This is the type of game that could be tricky for St Mirren. In the Premiership, they're happy to be compact, organised, hitting the break, use the pace of the strikers, but today it will be Queen of the South that will do that. They'll drop off and allow Saints possession, deny them space in behind. So the expectations will be on the home side to be creative with plenty of the ball, and Queens are also a full-time club, so they'll be organised, they'll be fit, so up to the likes of Kiltie and McMenamin and the wing backs to really be essential to create those chances for the strikers. And Queens have been playing with a number of players with experience at a high level. Josh Todd played here at St Mirren for a season. Dundee, Falkirk, Marvin Bartley's used the loan market to bring in a couple of young lads from Hibs and St Johnstone, Oscar McIntyre and Alex Ferguson. Of course, a man well known to listeners, Effie Ambrose, plays today in the middle of the back three, still playing away. All credit to him for dropping down to that kind of level. I saw Stephen Robinson quoted as saying his side will have to be on their game to get through, and of course he is correct. The Saints play close to their best, they'll win comfortably, but if they drop their level of performance, this could be a bit of a tricky game for them. I actually don't see a shock for them. I think they'll win by a couple of goals. I think there'll be a few goals here, so I'm actually looking forward to this game of football. For St Mirren, team news is that they've made 4 changes. Out go Olusanya, who's suspended because he got a red card against Celtic 3 weeks ago. Richard Taylor got a red card against Celtic last season in the Scottish Cup, so he's suspended. Ryan Flynn and Mika Mandron dropped to the bench. In come Ayunga, McMenamin, Buomo for his first start, and Kwon, the Celtic on loan player, makes his debut for St Mirren. So they go 3-4-3. Zach Hemmings in goals, Marcus Fraser, Alex Gogic and James Bolton at the back, Elvis Bomono, Hieku Kwon, Colin Boyles and Scott Tanza in the midfield, with 3 up front: Conor McMenamin, Jonah Ayunga and Greg Kiltie. The subs for St Mirren: Peter Minsky, Ryan Flynn, Michael Mandron, Charles Dunn, Stavna Manny, Lewis Jemison, Evan Mooney, Ethan Sutherland and Callum Penman. For Queen of the South, they also make 4 changes: McKechnie, Guffey, Hutchison and McIntyre drop to the bench. In come skipper Paul Mackay, Docherty, Gibson and Bryden. They'll look like a 3-4-1-2 formation. Harry Stone in goals, back 3 Kyle McClelland, Effie Ambrose and Paul Mackay, with Cammy Logan, Alex Ferguson, Josh Todd and Lewis Gibson across the middle. Lee Connolly, very talented, number 10, in behind the 2 strikers Jack Bryden and Kyle Docherty. The subs for Queen of the South: Gordon Botterill, Kieran McKechnie, Craig McGuffey, Jacob Hutchison, Oscar McIntyre, Ross Irving, Ewan Ross, Ben Johnson and Harvey Walker. And the referee today, a man who's a lot of controversy over the year with VAR, but he's on his own today, Nick Walsh.
Looking forward to that. Temptation to make today's fixtures all about Clyde One Super Scoreboard is a big one. Andy Halliday's debut, perhaps. Can the Palmerston Pep cause a shock there? For looking at shocks in terms of teams on various different trajectories, what about Livy Raith Rovers, Dave Galloway?
Yes, indeed, Gordon. A very intriguing Scottish Cup tie lies ahead as Livingston adrift at the bottom of the Premiership welcome Raith Rovers, who, of course, are Championship title challengers. And it looks like some mind games between the two managers in the lead up to this game. Livy's Davy Martindale claiming Raith are just as big a club, if not bigger, and with a bigger budget. Opposite number Ian Murray called that gamesmanship that he would take with a pinch of salt. On paper, it looks set up to be a close, hard-fought contest. Livingston, I could tell you, make 5 changes. In come Shamal George, Christian Montano, Stephen Kelly, Mo Sangari and Michael Nottingham. Out drop Jack Hamilton, Eo Obalai, Tom Parks, Stephen Bradley and James Penrice. So Shamal George in goals. At the back, Mikey Devlin, Michael Nottingham and Mo Sangari. Across the middle, Jamie Brandon, Andrew Shinnie, Jason Holt and Christian Montano, with Stephen Kelly and Scott Pittman playing off Curtis Guthrie, who leads the attack. The subs for Livy: McGovern, Donnellan, Anderson, Mackay, Penrice, Ledingham, Culbert and Lawal. Now Wraith, they make changes too, 3 of them. In come Kevin Dabrowski, Ross Millen and Callum Smith. Out drop Andy McNeil, Dylan Corr and Dylan Easton. So Kevin Dabrowski in goals. Across the back, Josh Mullen, Ross Millen, Scott Brown and Liam Dick. The sitting midfielders Sean Byrne and Kyle Turner. Then we've got Aidan Connolly, Lewis Vaughan and Callum Smith, with Jack Hamilton leading the attack. Subs for Wraith this afternoon: McNeil, Thompson, Murray, Gullen, Corr, Easton, McGill, Hanna and Masson. And your match referee is Grant Irvin.
Shock there. What are the chances?
Davy Martindale's trying the psychological trick of saying Wraith are a bigger club than we are, but they're equal in stature because both have won a major trophy in their time. Wraith, thanks to Gordon Dalziel and nobody else.
He'll be telling Wraith are bigger than Livy, are they not?
But Livy also
massive. They're better players.
Livy also have that major trophy. So there's not that much between them. Livy are bottom of the Premiership and Wraith are second top of the Championship. That means for me they are equal, and Wraith, I think, will beat them.
I always say that any time it's from a different division, it is a shock. There are scales of shock. It can be a small one, a big one, somewhere in between. But you would take Hugh's point, that's not massive. They're not going to be, writing into the record books. But by our definition on here, if it's from a different division, it's a shock, even if it's a small one. Is there possible there?
Yes, certainly possible. I've got that one marked down on my list for a possibility. When you look at what's gone on this season at Livingston, struggle to score goals, struggle to keep the ball at the back of the net, and you look at Wraith, how they've played attacking football, always seem to go to the 90th minute, got a habit of scoring late on in games. You would fancy them certainly to score there today. Yeah, there's potential there for an upset.
No, I'm not going with that. I don't think much more can go wrong for Livy and Davy Martindale. I think in the last few weeks Wraith have went off the boil a little bit, you've got to say, in their league campaign. Livy at home, I think it's so important to keep that cup run going for them, try to create some money, as they obviously need, Gordon, to try and bring in 1 or 2 faces. So I see that as a big game. I think it'll be a difficult game, but I see Livy winning that.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that one. Very quickly, St Mirren, Queen of the South. I didn't ask you that. Fraser Wishart said he doesn't think there's any danger. Quick.
Well, it'll be 1-0 after 10 minutes to St Mirren. Then I'm hoping that the big man can produce.
Home win for me as well.
Right, okay. There's an old Premiership tie between Kilmarnock and Dundee, which Roger Hanna's watching.
Yeah, and I know what you mean, Gordon, about the shocks from one division to the other, and this is the only all Premiership tie of the 4th round, but I think this could be game of the day. I was here between Christmas and New Year, a terrific 2-2 draw and a sensational finish. It was 1-0 to Dundee after 85 minutes, it was 2-1 to Kelly after 93, and it finished 2-2 after 95, and it was the second 2-2 draw between these teams this season, which means I'm probably going to be set for extra time and penalties here at Rugby Park this afternoon. With Kelly 4th and Dundee 7th, they've no real relegation worries, so why not set their radar in Scottish Cup success? Kelly haven't won the Cup since 1997. Derek McInnes hasn't won it since he was a player at Rangers in 99, and he's added to his squad this week. Greg Stewart, a former Dundee player, is back for a second spell at Kilmarnock, and he starts on the bench this afternoon after returning from India. A blow for Kilmarnock though. They've lost first choice goalkeeper Will Dennis. He is injured, and with youngster Aidan Glavin cup tied, it means it's a first Kilmarnock start for Kieran O'Hara, who was signed from Colchester last summer. And just this morning, McInnes has signed the Australian international goalkeeper Mark Berighitti on a 7-day emergency loan from Dundee United, and he goes straight onto the bench against Dundee, his city rivals, this afternoon. Tony Docherty, he was McInnes' number 2, of course, for last season's run to the quarter-finals where they lost up in Inverness. They've been to the quarter-finals of the Viaplay Cup this season, Kilmarnock, and are we eager for more success. Indeed, they've not won the Cup since back in 1910, but they were finalists under friend of Super Scoreboard Jim Duffy in 2003. And for those listening to our version of the chase on Thursday night, Lorenzo Amoruso scored the winner for Rangers that day. They went out the Viaplay Cup at the group stage. They missed every single penalty. They were beaten by St Mirren at this stage in a shootout last year, but they did reach the quarter-final a couple of years ago when they lost at home to Rangers. They have got 4 newcomers in the squad today. Dara Costello starts. He's on loan from Burnley after spending the first half of the season at St Johnstone, and there's 3 more newcomers on the bench. Curtis Main, also back from India, is on the bench, along with new signing Ryan Astley, who signed a 2.5-year deal from Everton, and Owen Dodson, another loan signing from Burnley. So just quickly to get through the teams: Kelly, Kieran O'Hara, as we say, in goal. Back 3, Lewis Mayo, Joe Wright and Stuart Finlay. Across the middle, Danny Armstrong, Roddy McKenzie, David Watson, Liam Polworth and Matty Kennedy. And up top, Marley Watkins with the skipper Kyle Vassell. On the bench, Berighetti and Ndaba and Dees, Murray, Cameron, Davis, Stewart, Donnelly and Mackay Stephen. As for Dundee, well, they go with Adam Legzdins in goal. It's a back 3, Jordan McGee, Joe Shaughnessy and Lee Ashcroft. Midfield, Ryan Howley, Josh Mulligan, Mo Silla, Luke McCowan and Dara Costello in debut. And up top it's Scott Tiffany with Amadou Bakayoko. On the bench, Harrison Sharp, the goalie who's been recalled from Dunfermline. 3 potential debutants: Dodson, Astley and Main, plus Cameron, Robinson, Riley, Robertson and Boateng. The referee is Don Robertson, and we don't have VAR at Rugby Park today, Gordon.
That was Anne Hegarty reporting from Rugby Park, fresh
Special
from
guest
big
today.
appearance in the quiz on Thursday night. They can turn their hand to anything,
You've
really.
got to say, the amount of people that says to me, Anne was absolutely brilliant Thursday night, looking well.
I can't believe we got a quizzer of her calibre on our small budget show.
How Anne get into the jeans, I'll never know, but well done.
Anyway.
No, I think that'll be a good game this afternoon. Draw the last time, obviously. Cup tie, I think that could be an extra time job.
We'll soon see. Now, quite often at this stage on a Saturday, we look back on the week's biggest talking points, but we've got so much Scottish Cup action. That is the week's biggest talking point, it feels like. We'll look at some of the other fixtures and some of the subplots that have come out of the fixtures already today. Certain pieces of team news that may be of interest. We'll do that next. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
I wear a few different hats as a CFO. Sometimes it's referred to as Chief Fixing Officer. Wherever there's a fire in the business, I'm often there first.
Whatever hat CFOs like Imran need to wear, Sage's tools and insights can make sure they fit. Sage, helping business flow.
Get in pole position for cheaper van insurance. With mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. See what you could save and compare your van insurance today with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Mark Wilson, Gordon Daziel and Hugh Keevins are in the studio. We've got the top team out and about at Scottish Cup 4th round weekend. One of the best days in the Scottish football calendar, it has to be said. The guys in here don't seem too convinced about any shocks. Fraser Wishart said you didn't think you would get one between St Mirren and QOS. Can you see one elsewhere? What would your top prediction be?
I think like the guys, I think the game in Motherwell has got a wee bit tricky if Motherwell don't score an early goal. I also think that Partick Thistle might beat Ross County. That would be my pick. I just think that saw Thistle last week, one of their very best, but they've got something about them. They're strong at the back. like the lad Lewis Nielsen, who plays at centre back as well. He's on loan from Hearts, looks really, really good as well. And just you don't know what you're going to get from Ross County these days. So that's probably the two for me. Although maybe Airdrie and St Johnstone. Airdrie have got a reputation. I haven't seen them, but people tell me they're a very good footballing team. So that might be one on that pitch as well. But to be honest with you, I don't think would Thistle beating Ross County be a massive shock. That's probably the one for me. Motherwell I think will scrape through, but I don't really see any other big shocks in the card today.
That would require Partick Thistle, your employers Mark Wilson, not being scarred by the memory of Dingwall from the end of last season. But should that be one we're looking at? Again, it falls into that category. Not trying to say it would be some massive shock. How could it be? But it would be a shock because they're in different divisions. That's just the way it goes. Yeah, well, they certainly have a chance. The way that they've played, particularly going forward this season, Partick Thistle, this is, they score a lot of goals. Brian Graham, been there, done it, been at Ross County, of course, so he knows how to score goals with the guys on the wing for Thistle. Creative, yes, they've got a chance. But Derek Adams made some signings over the break, and you wonder if they'll go straight back into the team. So it will be a fiercely competitive game, that one, but I'm not too sure.
I don't think Partick Thistle should be scarred by the memory. I think they should be absolutely driven by the memory. They should want to go up there, and it's payback time.
I'm not sure. Well, maybe that's the difference between players and fans. I've seen a lot of fans on social media saying they'd quite happily have never ever gone to Dingwall ever again in the rest of their lives.
I know the first team have changed hotels. They're not staying at the same.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bad omen.
Bad omen. Yeah, they've changed the place they're staying last night.
That's nothing new. I don't think Partick will win that game. I think Ross County home advantage will have too much.
Just going to pick the favourites in every game and just
so far I have.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got my shock.
Hold on a minute. He said there'll be a couple of shocks at the top of the show.
Rangers. Brora, I'll beat Cole.
Will they?
It's off.
It's off. That'll be good. I can't wait. He's been working on that joke all weekend as well.
I know.
He's held the comedy festivals on in a couple of weeks.
Mr. Research. His research is always impeccable.
I didn't say when. I said they will.
You know what I mean? I'm giving you inside info about hotels being changed, and you're hitting out the fixtures that have been off for 6 hours.
Interested.
Roger Hannah, rate the chances of Partick Thistle, Ross County.
I tend to agree with Daz for the first time ever. I think I'm not too sure there will be too many shocks today. I think home advantage for Ross County will probably see them through, and the same could maybe be said for Livingston as well, because I saw Wraith last week at Kirkcaldy. They started brightly against Queen's Park, but they just really fell away, and I noticed Dylan Easton isn't starting today. He is behind so many of the great attacking moves. I just wonder if Livy will see that through, and maybe the only Premiership casualty will be either Kelly or Dundee down here at Rugby Park.
There's one that I think I personally have overlooked. I think Rhys McCabe, the job he does at Airdrie, puts St Johnstone in peril as the visitors to Airdrie this afternoon. The youngest manager in the SPFL against the oldest. Craig Levine has done a fine job of stabilising St Johnstone since he took over from Stephen McLean, but this is different. This is not a stabilisation job. This is survival. This is the cup, and I would just wonder if St Johnstone might not make it back to Perth still in the competition.
Can't tempt you in on that one, former director of football at Airdrie.
I'm going to say I think it'll be difficult. If you'd looked at that fixture 6-7 weeks ago, before Craig Levine went, and I would agreed wholeheartedly with you, Hugh. I think they'll just edge it, the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we can only pick so many featured games. There are loads in the Cup, some in featuring Premiership teams we've not even mentioned. Again, are they all in almost a similar bracket then for you, Roger, where I don't suppose Hibs are going to love an afternoon in Forfar at this time of year? No offence to the lovely people of Forfar. Jim Duffy was telling us last night just how small the changing rooms are and what the surroundings are going to be like, but none of that enough to make you think Nick Montgomery's side could struggle.
No, I don't think so. It will be a culture shock. Hibs are just back from their warm weather training camp in Dubai and sent straight to Station Park, where they'll come up against a Forfar side that includes a defender by the name of Roberto Nditi, who has just come back from the Ivory Coast, where he was in the Tanzania provisional squad for the African Cup of Nations. Didn't make the cut, had to come back from the Ivory Coast via Ethiopia to Forfar, and will take on Hibs this afternoon. So that is the romance of the Cup for you. But I think Spartans will maybe be the story of the day, just for taking Hearts, the other Edinburgh side, so deep into added time.
Yeah, I mean, you look through the rest in terms of, Celtic Bucky's a sizable gap in terms of tiers. Inverness, Broomhill, again, I'm not suggesting it as a shock, I'm just putting out there as a fact that it's quite a difference in the level that they play at.
Could Celtic Hearts do something at Somerset this afternoon?
Again,
manager,
I'm not talking massive, but different divisions.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I think it'd be a shock if Broomhill get a goal. There
we go. Morton Montrose just trying to work our way around the games that haven't had a bit of attention. Bonnyrigg Rose against Falkirk as well. So going to be a fascinating card. Of course, Dumbarton Rangers is later on. Aberdeen are through. They were through last night. Hearts joined them, as the guys have already told you, only just. A Frankie Kent header in the 92nd minute to get beyond Spartans, who thought they'd maybe taken it the distance thanks to a wonderful James Cragen volley. Kenny Vargas's header early on had put Hearts in front, and none of that is actually as important as the fact, Roger Hannah, that a certain Lawrence Shankland wasn't anywhere to be seen. Now, Stephen Naismith says it's perfectly understandable. He's ill, he's not been training, he's been told to stay away, and that is that. But come on, this is Scottish football. There is a large percentage of people are not interested in the real explanation.
Well, I think he actually has had a dicky tummy, as they say in the business, Gordon. He's missed training a couple of days at the end of the week. It was always unlikely to be involved today, simply because he had missed so much training. I don't really read too much into it. Listen, he might not be a Hearts player by the end of this window, but I don't think today's developments really would contribute to that. I'm more interested in the sort of chat about the contract offer. Andrew McKinlay, the Hearts chief executive, making big play on the club's channels earlier this week about how lucrative a deal that is. I'm not too sure the Shankland camp necessarily agree with Mr. McKinlay's take on the contract offer. I would be astonished if Lawrence Shankland signed the contract offer. He's in a very good place professionally and personally at the minute, and I think Lawrence Shankland will hang on this window, or the next window, or the next window, and just see what's there for him, because the next contract, as I said in the show before, Gordon, the next contract of for Lawrence Shankland will be the biggest and last of his career.
Yeah, I mean, Fraser Wisher, as Roger Hannah says, he probably is unwell, but that won't stop Scottish football pundits and fans saying, I'm not sure, how convenient.
It's so difficult to know what's going on with Lawrence's situation, and he's the player in the focus in this window. There's always one or two that are under that real focus, because there's so much information and misinformation and rumours and half-truths and people spinning things as well. Roger and David, the journalists, know they always get this, people want to put their side of the story. It's an interesting tactic by Hearts, I thought, Andrew McKinlay, to come out publicly and talk about transfer talks. That's not usually something that players really relish, so I don't know if that was a design to just try and just let the fans know, or to try and pressure Lawrence. But Lawrence has got his own advisors, he'll know his own situation. I agree with Roger. I think he'll still be a Hearts player at the end of this window, because Hearts will want to keep him, because they've got Europe. If they finish third, then it's worth about £3 to £4 million in Europe next year. We know the situation there, so Lawrence Shankland staying gives him a far better chance than him going. So I think it would take a substantial offer for him to go just now. He'll also want to play football. He'll want to get his place in the Scotland squad as well. So he wants to play in the Euros, and if he does go to the Euros and does something, then all of a sudden the world's his oyster with 1 year left on his contract. So my gut feeling, it's only a gut feeling, I have no inside knowledge in the Lawrence's situation. My gut feeling is that he'll still be a Hearts player at the end of this window.
Yeah, I mean, as the guys have said, you need to be a proper cynic to your core to think there was more to this. Hugh Keevins, what's your thoughts on it?
He is apparently ill, but I think today offered visual evidence of Hearts without Lawrence Shankland, and it's not a pretty sight. Stephen Naismith, when the winning goal went in, deep into time added on, didn't even celebrate, because he knows that he can't come out of there saying, yeah, we were fine without Lawrence, because they weren't. And that is their problem. If they were to lose Lawrence Shankland this window, the remainder of their season will be a bumpy ride.
You might be the most cynical person I know, just for what it's worth. But anyway, another story developing from that game, I suppose, Roger Hannah, was Craig Gordon played. Now that can be one of those situations where he's going to get the cup games and Xander Clark will stay in. But if it's the start of Craig Gordon's run back as Hearts number one at the expense of Xander Clark, that's a huge story in the making for both club and country.
Yeah, and it's a huge decision for Stephen Naismith going forward. It didn't surprise me. A lot of teams change their goalkeeper for the cup. Dundee here this afternoon, Trevor Carson's getting rested and Adam Legzdens is coming back into the team, so it's not unusual for managers to change goalkeepers in the cup competition. The real crux now will be Tuesday night when Hearts are at home to Dundee in the Premiership. Does Xander Clark come back in, or is this Craig Gordon back in the team? I know Michael McGovern, the third choice goalie, was allowed to go out to Livingston on loan yesterday, so it's going to be Gordon and Clark, or Clark and Gordon, for the remainder of the season. And not only is it a big decision from a Hearts point of view, but you would think it's a big decision from a Scotland point of view, because I would think only one of them will be in the Euro 2024 squad, and it will be the one who finishes the season with the Hearts gloves.
Can you read anything into today, David Friel, or does it need to be Tuesday, as Roger says?
I think this was always a game where Craig Gordon was going to come back. Gordon, I think that was kind of almost penciled in as his milestone, but I thought it was really interesting to hear Stephen Naismith yesterday say that he feels he can keep both happy. I completely disagree. I think both will want to be number one every single week. Forget this cup games type stuff. I think Xander Clark will feel he deserves to stay as number one. Craig Gordon, I don't think I've ever met a more headstrong, self-confident footballer in my life than Craig Gordon. He will feel that he's back now and he should be number one, given everything he's done in his career and his status, etc. So I don't think he can keep both happy. I think he's going to have to make a call. I don't think he can go down the route of Mikel Arteta trying to kind of keep David Ray and Aaron Ramsdale happy. I don't like moving goalkeepers about. For me, it has to be one or the other. And it's a huge call for Stephen Naismith.
Hearts are through despite all of that. Aberdeen are through as well. Did you enjoy that last night, or did you watch the Traitors instead?
Done a bit of both.
Thought you might.
Yeah, mixed up a little bit first half and then flicked over for
just not
Traitors.
grabbing you the same.
I wasn't feeling the love.
Nah, right, okay. We'll go back around the grounds of our featured games next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Top team round the grounds, looking forward to some Scottish Cup football this afternoon. Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins are here in the warmth of the Clyde One Super Scoreboard studio. Let's go back to some of our featured games. Let's hear from Stuart Kettlewell ahead of Motherwell Alloa.
What I have to do is make sure the players understand what the mentality is going to be from that dressing room, from Alloa, how they're going to come and how they're going to try and play, how they're going to try and upset us, how they're going to try and change the mood in this place. And it's only us that can control that. If we allow that situation to happen, then it becomes such a difficult day. It becomes a really difficult day. Look across the country this weekend, there's going to be lower league clubs that do that all over the place and make it really difficult. So again, if I'd never been in those shoes, I would be maybe sitting here having a different conversation with you, but I absolutely know what that feels like and what the mentality is even now, what those players will be thinking and what the manager will be thinking.
That's why the structure, the scheduling of our season, David, makes this game, or these games, so fascinating, because obviously it's all about cup progression. That's like the main aim of the day. But fans of all the games turning up, wanting to see new signings for the first time. Will Andy Halliday make his debut off the bench? Who returns from injury after the break, in the form of Lennon Miller? Adam Montgomery's in from the start. And then maybe on the other side, what's lacking, what needs to be added. It's going to be a real interesting period for Motherwell, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Stuart Kettlewell, when we spoke to him the other day, said he basically didn't take a break at all. Obviously Motherwell did get probably a week off, but he just, had his head down working, trying to get that squad together. And I think he sees the next couple of weeks has been crucial for the rest of Motherwell's season. I mean, you look at the injury list and the players he's lost, I think it's no wonder. He also touched on it there in terms of the upsets. He was involved in so many big upsets while at Ross County. I think he beat Celtic 2 or 3 times, things like that. So he knows the mentality Alloa will have. He knows exactly what they're going to try and do. So I think for Motherwell it's all about being as professional as possible. And he's going to look at his established players, his senior players today, Gordon. If you look at the bench, I touched on earlier on, I think there's 6 17-year-olds in the bench. So Andy Halliday's a babysitter as opposed to a substitute today. Stuart Kettlewell really will need the likes of Blair Spittle, guys like that, Paul McGinn, Theo Bay, Harry Payton, all these guys to really step up for him and get the job done.
Yeah, and listen, if it's getting a bit boring, Andy Halliday's brilliant at the full-time teaser, so you can just get some of the questions out and try and educate everybody on the bench.
I'll be disappointed if he's not listening.
How excited are you? Just think of the
I
number.
can't wait to come see him.
You're going to be straight on him for training gear,
everything.
strips, anything that you can possibly get for free.
Do you know, I know where they train. Obviously it's not too far from me. I'm going up to heckle him. I hope he's on the pitch. I wouldn't like to heckle him when he's sitting watching the screen.
I don't know why Stuart Kettlewell has to. It was a great clip from him, but are players too stupid to work it out for themselves? That Alloa will come there and look for a cup shock, and Stevie Hamill lost to Wraith Rovers in the Scottish Cup, and that brought in Stuart Kettlewell as the manager. And in spite what everyone says, I think he's done a reasonable job on limited resources. But I repeat, are players too stupid to work it out for themselves? That you get out there and don't slip up.
I don't think it's that deep. I'm not sure we have to analyse the comments. It was Stuart Kettlewell says a lot, and it was just, I don't know, fairly general pre-match fare, was it not?
Yeah, but we're on till 6 o'clock.
You've got to keep talking. We've got a lot of games to get through, I have to say. St Mirren, Queen of the South, under the watchful eye of Fraser Wisher. It is still a much bigger step, Fraser, but Marvin Bartley's side buoyed by knocking out Dundee United, I guess, on penalties in the previous round.
Yeah, showing a wee bit of form as well, Gordon, recently in league games. How you've up and down and consistent. You guys are always watching out for his results during the 90 minutes, and they do score a few goals, they do concede a few goals as well. And a bit like Alaba, they'll come here knowing that they're the big underdogs, but it's a big game for some of these lads, some of the younger lads especially, playing it in a ground in a Premiership club as well, so it's a new experience for them. They'll just come and sit deep, and that's when it's up to St Mirren to go and make the play, to go and be creative, as I said earlier. So I think the way that St Mirren start the game will be very important. They'll need to move the ball quicker. If they're slow on the ball and they dally on the ball and they allow the sort of 5-man defence to get settled, then they're going to have to play in front of that defence all the time. Whereas if they play the way they usually play, at high tempo, St Mirren like to play at high tempo, closing people down, and when they get the ball they break very quickly and use the pace of Ayunga and McMenamin in the wider areas along with Kiltie as well. These are the guys who can go and create things, but if they're too slow on the ball, St Mirren, they could get caught out here. So how they start the game is always important. They want to get Queen of the South on the back foot and saying, yeah, you come here, you're looking forward to, you think, create a shot. No, we're the dominant team, and an early goal at Gordon Dale was saying the first 10-15 minutes would be very welcome for the St Mirren fans.
It sounds windy at St Mirren, but then again it always does, so I'm not sure if that's out of the ordinary or not, or how it will impact things on the pitch. But let's hear from Stephen Robinson, trying to avoid that shock.
Well, first of all, you have to try and get through the first leg of the cup. If we can get through the cup, then it gets a little bit of momentum going again. It'll be a tough game. Queen of the South have picked up recently. Marvin's a very good young coach, so we expect a tough game. Nothing's an easy ride in this game, and we have to be fully focused, fully prepared, and start the game well. We've got a home advantage, and certainly it's an opportunity to progress.
Looking forward to that one for sure. The all Premiership tie that Roger Hannah mentioned between Kilmarnock and Dundee. These are the thoughts of Derek McInnes.
We want to try and be a strong cup team. The intention is to get to Hampden, and we've shown that against the best teams in the country we can win games against them. So we're trying to, I think in the last 10-11 years, I think 8 teams out with Old Firm have won a cup. So it's almost 50% of the time a team out with the Old Firm in the last 10-11 years have won a trophy. Why can it not be us? And I'm trying to get that across to the players that we've got to attack the competition. Got a tough game first, so we're not going ahead of ourselves, but if we can beat Dundee and get into the next round, then the intention is to try and go all the way.
You understand the thinking, Roger Hannah. Why not aim high? And if you've shown that you can beat Celtic and Rangers within the space of the same first half of the season, if you're Derek McInnes and you're used to getting to the latter stages of cup competitions in this country, is that something Kilmarnock should be looking to prioritise?
Yeah, I think it is. They're already fourth in the Premiership, as we said earlier, Gordon. They will have one eye on European football back here at Rugby Park next season, whether that's through league position or through exploits in the Scottish Cup. Derek McInnes is always keen, you saw it at Aberdeen for years, always keen to advance in the cup competitions. He sees, if you can win cup ties, it helps build momentum. You can take that back into the league games, and he's not one of these managers who rotates squads for cup ties. He treats the cups with a degree of deference, and he's great succession. We won a League Cup as Aberdeen manager, so he will believe he can take Killie deep into this season's Scottish Cup. But first of all, they need to get past Dundee and his old pal Tony Docherty, and they haven't beaten Dundee since Dundee came back up to the top flight. And of course it was Dundee that won the Premiership playoff final here a couple of seasons ago to put Kilmarnock down into the Championship.
Yeah, we said everything today is also against the backdrop of the transfer window. Derek McInnes' Kilmarnock recruitment has been excellent, hasn't it? When you look through that team, so many of them signings that clearly tried to fit that profile of players that knew the league, and they're not all playing today from the beginning. But even Robbie Dees and Corey and Daba are not part of it. We've seen various others get rave reviews this season coming in. Lewis Mayo's been a real standout, as we discussed during the break, and now adding Gary Mackay-Steven on a longer term deal than the short one he was on, and Greg Stewart again, both amongst the subs today.
Yeah, and as I said to you before, Gordon, I remember going for Super Scoreboard down to Dumfries a couple of years ago for Derek McInnes' first game as Kilmarnock manager in the Championship, and the squad is unrecognisable. You think of the quality of the signings. Lewis Mayo, £50,000 from Rangers, you've touched upon. Stuart Finlay back at the club. The likes of young David Watson, not a signing but developed through the club and now into the first team, and he's managed to get a couple of strikers, Marley Watkins, who he had at Aberdeen, and Kyle Vassell back from the USA, who has made such an impact here at Rugby Park. He was handed the captain's armband at the start of the season, and as you say, the strength on the bench. Mackay-Steven you mentioned, Stewart you mentioned, but you can throw in the likes of Liam Donnelly as well, who I know you know from Motherwell days, and Daba and Dees, as you mentioned, and they've added an international goalkeeper today in Mark Berighetti to that bench.
Yeah, and of course our final featured game, Livy against Wraith Rovers. Dave Galloway, I'd imagine Wraith Rovers bringing an expectant and big travelling support to that one.
Problem with the box, he meant to use the 5 live one. Alright, just to say once.
Sounds like he's busy just talking to someone else.
Dave,
just not too concerned with us.
You're live, Dave. Hello, Dave.
It sounded like he was getting to me, having been there many times. I can interpret those conversations very quickly. That sounded to me like he was getting kicked out of his seat and getting told to move somewhere else. I've been there before, so I will
maybe he's unwrapping his high and mighty.
Well, that's the thing. There is no Wimpy in Livingston. But I'll redirect the question to you, Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel. Davy Martindale's commitment to moaning about the budget or pointing out the budget, it knows no bounds, and it, back on again today, because this is a team from the division below, but pointing out that they've still probably got a bigger budget than us. It's going to be an interesting window. I know there was reports there during the week that he was interested in Andy Halliday, and said he couldn't attract players like that, and so on, and round we go on it, really.
To be honest, Gordon's getting a wee bit tiresome now. Everybody knows where Livingston is, and David Martindale, I think, doesn't need to come out every single week and state the obvious. And now he's stating that Wraith Rovers are a bigger side than Livy, and again, maybe a bit of psychological warfare there between the sides.
I'm with you, Mark. I think as a manager and being there, you get to a stage when things aren't going well for you, you actually look at yourself and think, I need to stop this, because you're putting negativity all around the place. Players are listening to these interviews and thinking, well, obviously the manager doesn't think we're good enough, and it's shown just now they're not with their league campaign. But as a manager, and that's what you've got to do your best to lift that club. You've got to do the best to get the best out of these players, get them out in the park, get them organised. We know that Davey can do that. He can get his team well drilled, well organised. Listen, a wee result today. It will be difficult because Wraith are a good footballing side. I just think home advantage for him.
He's been a miracle worker. He's run out of miracles, and he knows the jig's up, and that's why he speaks the way he does, week in, week out.
Well, there's only one thing that can tell us the full story at full time, if there's a shock or not. That will determine his mood, I'm absolutely certain of it, and it'll be interesting to hear what all the managers make of it after we get things underway. We're not too far away at all. 3 o'clock kickoffs, we told you already. Aberdeen through last night, Hearts through this afternoon, Rangers Dumbarton to come later, Celtic Buckie tomorrow. But who will progress in the cup from the 3 o'clock games? We begin finding out next.
Tackle the headlines. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel in the studio. The top team round the grounds as we get Scottish Cup 4th round Saturday afternoon underway. What is the ACA telling us, Hugh? There are too many fixtures to run through. Focus on our featured games then, if you can.
Home win St Mirren against QOS, home win Motherwell against Alloa, home win Killie against Dundee, away win Wraith Rovers at Livy, and I'm going out on a limb here, Rangers to win at Dumbarton.
St Mirren, Motherwell, Killie, a draw at Livy, and Wraith to go through after that.
He's got Dave Galloway there for the long haul.
Well, I said at 2 o'clock there would be a shock. Can't find one. All home wins.
There you go.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Get the help you need to quit with the smoking cessation programme.
I do. I love this round of the Cup. Always have. Hopefully, always will. I feel like all of our teams always take it really seriously. It's just got a real feel about it. It's a special competition. The big boys expect to win it. Yep. It then forms part of a treble for them if you take that a step further. And to everyone else, it can offer a real sense of awe. And we always like it when we get a nice quick start in the Scottish Cup as well. But where does it come?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
1-0 Motherwell. Blair Spittle with a curler from 20 yards in off the underside of the bar. Don't need to see it, don't need to see any more. Goal of the weekend, an assist from Adam Montgomery on his debut, and Motherwell lead nice and early.
Yeah, that's the nerves well and truly settled, Gordon. What a start. You couldn't have asked for a better start. Stuart Kettlewell was right, warning his players, listen, we've got to go out, start in the front foot, put them under pressure, get the goal. There's no shock at Fir Park today.
The best quote prior to these games starting was from Derek McInnes when he said, attack the competition. Now, that's great stuff. 3 words, sums it all up, and Motherwell have done it.
Not as quick as Kilmarnock though. 18 seconds in. Derek McInnes, team talk obviously cutting through.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Even by your standards, Hugh, that was poetic. Derek McInnes, attack the competition. 18 seconds on the clock there, and Kyle Vassell straight from kick-off, ball through, he taps it underneath the goalkeeper, and Kilmarnock lead Dundee by 1-0.
Well, that's brilliant psychology from Derek McInnes.
From you, I think.
Well, I got in lucky, but that's real good starts for Motherwell and Kilmarnock. Long way to go, of course, but you'd rather have the goals on the board.
Lack of professionalism, Hugh.
Well, Tony
you say that all the time.
Tony Dock should go. Listen, this has been my kind of week. Forest Green, that's my kind of football club. Manager, 29 days out. That's my kind of thinking.
That is what football is becoming now. It's slowly getting there that managers will start to get a month before they lose their job. I do think Troy Deeney went about it the wrong way though, with some of his post-match comments.
What was he, 6 games, 29 days
and a 4-game
ban. No wins.
I don't think the man's cut out for management at all.
He might come back somewhere, don't worry about it.
I mean, what I have to know to determine whether I'll sleep well tonight or not, Kilmarnock's official account says it's 20 seconds. Roger Hanna says 18.
I go with Roger.
I'll go with Anne. I'm going with Anne.
Go with Anne Hegarty.
Yeah, definitely.
He sent me a picture late at night. Roger with a dress on was the quote underneath it.
That's the thing, yeah.
Did you enjoy your latest quiz on Thursday evening?
I did. I don't particularly like them because I'm not very good at them, but I quite enjoyed, and I thought the wee different bits of Roger and that coming in was a good touch.
We're
getting more goals.
There's attacking the competition and there's attacking the competition. Derek McInnes.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
2-0 Kilmarnock. Marley Watkins with the header. Both of his front two have scored within the first 3 or 4 minutes, and Tony Docherty will not be happy at all. It was a free kick from the right, glanced home at the near post. 3rd minute of the game, Kilmarnock lead by 2-0.
I want Roger Hanna to go down post-match and tell Dell that I said attack the competition was the quote of the day pre-match, and my goodness, if ever a man lived up to his own words, it was Derek McInnes. That's that done and dusted then.
What a start that is.
Unbelievable, but ridiculous from Dundee. It's 2 goals within the opening 3 minutes. Is shocking stuff. You wouldn't see that if you go down some of the fixtures with the lower league teams. So hugely disappointed. He's got some players in on loan.
I think it just throws up the question of what exactly were they doing in that winter break? How good a time did they have? How much did they let the hair down on that winter break?
Yeah, I don't think they'll get another week off. But
how much are they missing Owen Beck? It must be. Is he the magic man? That would be a shock again if we're talking about difference in divisions. 1 league between them. Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Falkirk 0. Connor Doan with the goal. Producer John is not working today. He's off to Bonnyrigg Rose against Falkirk.
Did you see the penalty kick awarded to Falkirk last week?
unbelievable.
That is the worst decision
goodness.
I've ever seen in my life.
That was horrendous.
He dived as he was coming round the bend.
They got out of jail with that one. Was it the last minute penalty that got them the draw? That started well today, so everything going along pretty smoothly for Falkirk up until the last couple of weeks.
Not the easiest place in the world to go.
Bonnyrigg, based on what?
Based on the surroundings.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
have you ever been?
Yeah,
pitch.
About 15 years ago.
I mean, you say that
nothing's changed.
But what's difficult about it?
I think the surroundings, dressing room, pitch, close in, Falkirk playing a big stadium. They like to play attractive football.
Surroundings.
Well, I told you Aberdeen would beat Clyde, and you were, hold on a minute, that could be tricky. You said on Thursday night.
It was tricky. Clyde hit the post before Aberdeen scored.
Well, who's in the next round? I've been there, and it is sometimes you've got to be in the right frame of mind when you go to these places.
When were you there?
Look at Hearts today, right? Hearts go to Spartans, and they're well below it. You've got to be on the ball when you go to these places. I don't care if you say, the pitch is good and everything. The surroundings make it. The difference that you're playing a team you're expected to beat. You have got to be on the ball. You've got to be a Kilmarnock.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Big club doing big club things. Livy 0, Wraith 1. Jack Hamilton previously at Livy, if my memory serves me correctly, through long ball forward, through and goal, fires it through the keeper's legs, and Davy Martindale maybe saw it coming. Livy 0, Wraith Rovers 1.
Miracle worker,
the shot comes?
Runs out of miracles, balls burst, jigs up, and Wraith will just complete the job there.
Good start, Wraith Rovers. Let's do this, Hugh Keevins.
Yep.
The first half teaser
with the ScottishSun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I like this question, but I think it's easy. Since 2000, 5 Englishmen have scored in a Scottish Cup final. Name them. Since 2000, 5 Englishmen have scored in a Scottish Cup final. Who are they?
I'm not sure I'm putting that right in the easy category. There's a couple of those names that might be a bit tricky, but anyway, at Clyde SSB, you need to write all of the names on one tweet, send it over there, and ultimately you're trying to race everybody else. So at Clyde SSB, let's see what you can come up with on the first half teaser. Dundee have got the ball in the net, but the offside flag is up. What a start to the game at Rugby Park. It was Luke McCowan's shot, and remember, no VAR in that one. Celtic Bucky Thistle, the only tie of the round with VAR in operation, so we wait until that tomorrow. Even that in itself, an experience for the Bucky players. I think I read they've been given a crash course, Hugh, in sort of maybe kind of what to expect, or different, just slight different things in terms of how you go about it in certain situations.
Well, we had one of the players on last night, and he described the week from nowhere. If you're playing Celtic in the Scottish Cup, snow all week in Bucky, unable to train in Bucky. I mean, what more does Celtic want? They've got a part-time Highland League team coming to play the current holders of the competition at Celtic Park. If Celtic don't score 5 or 6, then they've had a poor day.
So what this round of the Scottish Cup is really about, because of course Celtic will get through, but it's more for the Bucky players, an experience that they'll remember for the rest of their lives, and it shows the merit of taking those early rounds seriously and progressing, because this is the lottery one that teams like Bucky Thistle need. This will keep them going for many years to come. Of course they'll go there, they'll try their best, but they will get overrun. They'll get their day in TV as well, so it's a big occasion for the full club. It's what these rounds are about.
Yeah, it's a special competition, that's for sure. You said you made your debut in the Scottish Cup, did you not?
Forest Mechanics back in 2002, and by the way,
at Tannadice.
At Tannadice, and that day I was on the bench alongside Charlie Miller, Jim McIntyre, Stephen Thompson, and I think it was still 0-0 a long way into the game.
They didn't send you on to rescue it,
No. Once
Must
it went 3-0,
looked down the line and went, what one will turn this cup tie for us? Right, Mark, just you keep your head in. You're not involved in this.
But I get put on I think it was 3-0 by that point in the 80-odd minute, and that was my debut. Yeah, I started a couple of weeks later against Dundee. 17. Yeah, great experience. So loved it.
I must admit, I didn't expect to be combining Dundee United with Nigerian culture on the show this afternoon, but have you seen it? Do you know where this is going, Mark Wilson? Do you know where this is going, Gordon Dale?
Absolutely
silly
no
question. Hugh Keevins, do you know where this is going?
Not a clue.
Well, I think I'll just play the clip first, because and by the way, thanks to the numerous people who sent it to me this morning saying you have to speak about this on Super Scoreboard this afternoon. There was Beale the Butcher was one of them. There was various others who sent it over saying you have to mention it. Scotty was another one. So this is a clip, Hugh, from popular TV show QI. Are you familiar with its work?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I know that one.
So there's a British Nigerian comedian, Nabil Abdul Rashid. He was on it. Okay. And I'm just going to play it. Let it speak for itself. Every day is a school day, Hugh Keevins. Right. That's all I'm going to say to you.
I think I've heard this. Well, I was born in London, but my parents had me move back to Nigeria to make sure I learned to speak English properly. And for that, I thank them. Yes. And most Nigerian boys heard at home, whenever we did something stupid, which for me was very regular, we used to get called Dundee United.
It's Nigerian slang for idiot. Dundee United. Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's been around for about 30 years. Sometimes just a Dundee is the slang for an idiot, and a group of idiots would then be a Dundee United. And you can also just call somebody a complete Dundee United. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. I singularly was a complete Dundee United.
There you go.
Actionable.
Every day is a school day. That might be the best piece of Scottish football trivia you'll find. Once I heard it, I thought, I feel like I've been made aware of that before, but it's so ludicrous that I probably just kind of cast it aside and didn't, almost believe it. But
you know what's so strange about this, right? My roommate, when I went to Dundee United and Diggs, and my best pal was Daniel Ogunmade. He's Nigerian parents. He's never told me that, or he's never heard that, or he never brought that up.
Did he not say Mum were United?
Well, you think he would have. I shared a room with him for 2 years. I actually went to high school with him and primary school, so we were friends all the way through. And he never mentioned that. And there we are, two who's playing for Dundee United, and we were a group of idiots.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I've got 3 Dundee Uniteds in here, no doubt about it, as Morton go 1-up on Montrose thanks to Grant Gillespie penalty. But if you Google it, it comes from a disastrous club tour of West Africa in 1972. They just played kind of small local teams. They drew 2-2 against stationery stores, followed by a 1-0 win against Benin Vipers, and lost to Enugu Rangers in a match played in front of 35,000 people, before drawing with the Mighty Jets and ending the whole sorry affair with another hammering by the stationery stores.
So 1972, did you say?
Yeah.
Who would be?
As the Dundee United.
Is it not McLean? Wouldn't be there, would it?
I think so. Jim went.
Jim 72.
70, yeah. Walter Smith was a player then. And by 74, they were in the cup final against Celtic.
So there we are. You won't forget that in a hurry.
Oh, that's brilliant.
In Nigeria, idiots are known as Dundee United.
Yeah. But if you're an idiot, you're just a Dundee.
And honestly, I don't think you've struggled to top that for Scottish football.
I did laugh this morning when I picked it up on social media. Fantastic.
Very good, very good. Thanks to everybody who sent it in. If anyone can add any more detail, we're here for it. We like to be educated. We need educating, let's be honest, in here. So do it. Send us over your info if you've got any. If you can add any more details to that. Mark Wilson is a Nigerian teammate, apparently. Didn't know, so it does make me a little bit sceptical.
I need to get in touch with him. Yeah, he's over in America just now, so I need to get in touch with him and see if he's heard of that.
And there we go, a quiet start in Paisley. Ayunga's had a shot, it bounced awkwardly in front of Harry Stone, but saved comfortably.
Is a quiet start a euphemism for it's rotten?
Well, here's the thing, it won't be quiet in the dugout because the Palmerston Pep never shuts up.
Yeah.
And Stephen Robinson is quite...
Is Marvin
lively
quite
as well?
Yeah, Marvin quite loud on the
generally,
touchline.
he's just a loud guy, isn't he? There's no way he's going to go on the touchline and be quiet. I've not had the displeasure of sitting behind the dugout at one of his games, but listen to him in here, that big daft laugh, and he probably won't have much to laugh about.
I don't think he'll be laughing in the dugout.
Remember the story he told about Sean Maloney when he was the Hibs manager, and Sean, who's a few weight divisions beneath Marvin.
Oh, he got right under his skin, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was when he was a Livy assistant.
Correct.
That's right, I forgot about that.
It was almost a bit of a
lost
square goal on the touchline.
Cool, that's right.
Have you booked a replacement for Wednesday?
Well, it depends, because it's not every defeat that rules him out of the following
and
week.
he's,
So
and he's playing a Premier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My
as long as it's not a scalping.
My criteria would be if he can keep it under 3, he'll be in.
Yeah,
I think that's
over
fair.
3. You're on the text.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And if he wins, he'll be on every night this week. You lot can stand down.
He'll be in here at 5:30. It's just in the road.
One of my favourite niche hobbies of Scottish football is the language used by official Twitter accounts. You just want to be really salty or sarcastic, and often the same incident can be described very differently by the two teams involved. So Montrose have tweeted from their official account, Morton win a penalty. I think the striker was snipered down, but the ref saw something. Don't think they're taking it very well. Didn't Edinburgh City do something similar? Did they not lash out at Falkirk last week after that dramatic end?
Yeah, well, so they should have.
I think they did. And maybe
here's hoping everyone cashed out last week when
I was
had the
just
opportunity.
I was just at where Alan Wells beat me at the side.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. See where the corner flag was?
Yeah.
That's where I dipped.
It's maybe not as simple as you thought. Alloa with some tidy passing, according to David Friel.
You get nothing for passing. It's like in training, 10 passes a goal. You know, that old
He
drill.
would just make that up. Sound exciting.
Scrappy.
He built up to such a big shock, didn't he? Oh, but a difficult game, and Motherwell have lost all their players 1-0 after a minute. He has to put something out there, doesn't he?
They've done a Dini. Goal down, first minute. Bye bye. Game over.
I generally do remember that. So it wouldn't have been. It wasn't the first game I went to, but the first one. I think it's the first game I can remember clearly, if that makes sense. Like,
in 96, did you say?
I know I went to games before that, but I couldn't tell you anything about them. But I remember that, a penalty shootout defeat to Alloa.
Scarred you.
Yeah, but again, looking back,
who missed the penalty?
See, that's the bit I'm not too sure about. I said I remembered it, but not that well.
96.
Someone can send me the
John Spencer
the details. Well, Fraser Wishart played. He could tell us. Surely he was telling us.
I bet he was standing at the back. I don't take penalties. I only take throw-ins, mate. I'm waiting to throw in, throw you out.
A throw-in decider.
A throw-in decider.
Remember they used to have the throwing competition on Scott Sport or
Robbie
something.
Nielsen.
Robbie Nielsen won it every year. Aye, it was Fraser. Did he have a long throw on him?
Oh, that's the only thing he brought to the party, Fraser. I'll take throw-ins for both sides.
Apparently last week
run away over
about
the other side.
the throw-ins in the Partick Thistle Morton game, that Morton have got a player that has a long throw and he plays left back though, and the first 2 minutes of the game they get a throw-in at the corner flag, the opposite side. He walks over, apparently. Everybody's watching this guy. He gets the towel, cleans the ball, there's towels all around the pitch.
John Philibin and Willie Faulkner missed the penalties, according to a combination of David Friel and Fraser
Willie
Wishart.
Faulkner, there's a centre forward for
you go.
Aberdeen Celtic.
Yeah.
Played a few clubs, Willie, didn't he? Good player, good centre. And John
Just an
Philibin.
off night that night, really. Unfortunately.
John Philibin, son-in-law of Doyle, the snooker man.
Ian Doyle.
Ian Doyle and Stephen Henry. Had a bit of information for
You know
you.
your stuff, and get that in the quiz next time. Maybe give you a chance of winning.
Yeah.
He was much improved, wasn't he, this time round?
Yeah. What's
Very
that?
much. You were much improved at the quiz
In
in comparison to last year.
to be fair, I put all the efforts into the first Thursday. I was going after it. I didn't sleep well that night. I was so excited. I thought, I've got a draw. I've done myself proud. People were phoning me, congratulating me, patting me in the back. But then to go on next Thursday was just one too many.
One step too
and
far.
then Big Ann walks in. You're thinking, oh, here we go. By the way, I nearly got to the end. I would like to hear that back, because I get more questions than him, and I didn't seem to be moving down the ladder.
Are you unfamiliar with how the chase works?
Yes, I watch you chase every night. I know. You're no Bradley Walsh, let me tell you.
Caught. You were absolutely caught easily.
You didn't put me at ease. Bradley puts his contestants at ease.
Well, there was so much noise at the end that the woman who was foolish enough to marry me came into the kitchen and said, "What's happened? Something happened on the programme." I said, "Mark Wilson's won a quiz."
I do need to apologise to anyone who watched in the live stream. There was a bit of an incident. We didn't really realise exactly how this would play out, but right at the end of the live stream, Gordon Dalziel was apparently spotted with a
flexing my muscles,
one-fingered gesture.
No, I wasn't. I was flexing the muscles
to the camera,
and he wonders why he never gets invited on TV.
Lots of people sent me the screenshot. So I am sorry for any offence caused. But if you want to go back and watch it,
we kids going to school the next day saying I saw Gordon Dale doing that to the teacher. Have that, teacher.
Yeah, but you've got to go to the side and make that. I was just showing that I've been working out in the gym, that's all.
Working that finger.
People take things the wrong way. It's incredible nowadays.
Mr. Andy's on Twitter. He watched QI last week, so the manager was Jim McLean because they showed the picture. But to be fair, it was only when the comedian on it went back to Nigeria when he was called this. He never heard the term in the UK. So it might explain.
Okay.
I don't know. Your
my friend.
Your lack of familiarity with the story, but there we go. Right, where are we? Karamoko Dembele, remember him?
I missed a sitter the other night.
Well, he's now scoring goals in League One for Blackpool, and he scored this afternoon. Still, of course,
in the cup against Forest, went to extra time. Last 2 minutes, he went right through 1-on-1. The goalkeeper tried to get around him, tried to be fancy, took an extra touch.
That's why he's at Blackpool.
Greg Kiltie has a goal disallowed for offside for St Mirren, so the Palmerston Pep hangs on their penalty. Livingston, so a chance. However, he's not got a rotten penalty record this season.
Yeah,
Bruce Anderson
hit the post, didn't he? Horrendous
he hit
one.
The outside of the post. Who else? Well, remember Sean Kelly scored one against his brother, but then I think he missed one as well. I feel like Livy have had a few issues in recent times. It looks like it was Kelly who actually went down shinny to take.
He'll score. He's decent. He'll score.
Think so?
Yeah. 1-1.
Do you just always stick up for the Shinny family now?
I like Shinnies,
I criticised Graham
unfairly. I watched John Graham last night,
and then he
controlled the midley part.
And then he pulled you up in person at Aberdeen.
Oh, that was so funny.
And your bottle crashed.
No, my bottle didn't crash because he was too nice. If he'd have been aggressive, my bottle
he's
would have
missed. Andrew Shinny.
See the Shinny family.
Came off the keeper, and away it goes.
Miracle worker has run out of miracles. It's happening every week now. Fate has got its hand over Livy.
What is their penalty record in recent times? I'm going to look that up. Maybe I've made it out to be worse than it is, but it does feel like they've missed a couple. Theo Bayer goes in on the right, but the shot is saved as Motherwell look to double their advantage. Can't do it.
I think in any other club, if that scoreline has to remain the same and Livingston had to go out, that would be marked down as probably a sackable offence when you put it together with their league form. You look at Stevie Hamill last year, the way things were going in Wraith Rovers, put them out, he lost his job. I was going to say, I just don't see that being the case with Livingston. I don't think there'll be any changes.
I'm away in for a board meeting, lads. I don't know how it'll end, but you get into the toilet, look in the mirror, what you think, Dave? Nah, just go for an hour week. Get a pay rise on the way out.
But
that's Steven Gerrard contract, by the way. New contract, lose. Can he win a game? There's 15 million quid a year for you. I've settled in well over here.
Do us a favour, don't start winning. What about your man down at Sunderland? He's went in for a hard time already, hasn't he?
Sacked in the morning. His own fans were singing to Michael Beale last night.
It's not a good start, that.
Well, people said it at the time, quite surprised that perhaps he got the job in the way he did after Rangers, and it's not going to plan, is it?
No, it certainly isn't. And I think there were about 40,000 that game last night. So big club, big ambitions. You got to win games, and he's not got off to a good start. I wish him all the best. Listen, I hate seeing that because at the end of the day, we've all been there. Obviously not Sunderland.
Well, I'm sure all of our listeners will agree in wishing him all the best.
Look, he was a Rangers manager. It didn't work. I never thought it would, but he's went elsewhere. You just don't.
Forest Green getting rid of Troy Deeney in 29 days is one thing, but if clubs like Sunderland start doing it in 29 days, then the game really isn't a bit of bother. So I do understand that you lose to Newcastle, first time they've met in 8 years, and you get turned over by them. People are unhappy. Then you lose again in the league match. But surely at the Sunderland level of operations, you're not out after 29 days.
There you are, Livy's penalty record. So Bruce Anderson's missed 2 this season, and Andrew Shinnie's missed 1. So maybe that's what I was thinking of. I knew there was a couple of significant ones that had gone a begging, and today was certainly one of them.
They're certainly doing a very convincing impersonation of a club who have run out of road.
Yeah.
And they look as if this is a season too far in the top flight, and the cup won't last long either.
I do. Listen, everybody loves David. I know. I feel for him. Obviously, Mark, you know what like it is not to be winning games week in, week out. You know what I mean? Do you still keep picking yourself up?
That's that. You just need to keep going.
Thinking, I wonder what charity shop this is going to end up.
Think about. I wonder what my payoff's going to be. I wonder when it's coming.
Quite interested in the shape, Gordon, and what Motherwell have chosen to do, because Adam Montgomery, we said that during the week he's been seen as a kind of winger, or does he
left backish?
Is he going to play wing? So he's playing left wing back today with Georgie Gent, who is very much the kind of wing back or full back. He's ahead of him, so Georgie Gent ahead of Adam Montgomery. I wonder if that's a sign of things to come as to how Motherwell will line up. They'll need more attacking players for sure, whether that is, you know, wide players.
Well,
they
don't
tend to sign wide players.
Yeah, he was in a little habit of going in some games with the three strikers. I don't think that's a formation that he'll be able to do now. I think Montgomery gives him good balance on the left hand side. I like him. I think he's got a lovely left foot on him. So good that he's settled in. And obviously Andy brings that bit of experience when we get him up to match fitness in the mid left part. So it's not all doom and gloom unless they lose
Are
a
you
goal.
sure? Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It was always going to be this guy. I had some friends round this morning, Motherwell fans. We were looking through the Alloa team and saying, Connor Salmon is guaranteed to come back and haunt Motherwell, and indeed he has. Maybe there is a shock in the cards. Motherwell won, Alloa won. It was a breakaway. He was racing through a lovely curling shot. He finds the corner, and Alloa are level at Fir Park.
That's why David Friel is at the top of his field. He knows his stuff. He knew that wasn't going to be an easy one. Connor Salmon come back to haunt you.
I forgot. David Friel said when asked by Gordon Duncan, "Is there a shock there today?" I don't think so.
But he sounded unsure. He sounded,
Calm down. It's not even half time. That's in the bag.
You were giving David Friel 5 minutes ago, saying first minute goal. He's got it all wrong.
I know. But to be fair to David, he did recognise that Alloa were passing the ball about. He's obviously up to his game as a journalist. I think that the Motherwell fans round about David will certainly not be happy, but it's still a long way to go there. I still fancy Motherwell to get to and win that comfortably.
Could be a big goal though, that's for sure.
Yeah, it certainly, it causes a bit of alarm, and that's what clubs like Alloa thrive on Cup Day. If you sense that the opposition are jittery because you've equalised, and I go back to it, Stevie Hamill lost his job because of a Scottish Cup tie. Stuart Kettlewell got the job because of a Scottish Cup tie that was lost when Motherwell felt it should not have been lost. So it's jittery time.
When was the last clean sheet Motherwell kept? You're going because you're looking at this opposition today. You know, they're sitting fifth in League One. You're thinking this is their best chance to build a wee bit of confidence, keep a clean sheet, score a couple of goals, and I still believe, like Daz, Motherwell will go through, but it shows how fragile they are at the back.
0-0 against St Mirren away, wasn't it? 16th of December, but there haven't been many. That was a kind of outlier.
At home, they seem to leak goals for fun.
Hugh, if you could remind us of your teaser, please.
Let me tell you that Mark Wilson has 4 of the 5 answers already.
Wow.
Since 2000, 5 Englishmen have scored in a Scottish Cup final. Who are they?
Okay, I can't believe you think this is easy, Hugh, to get all 5 when you look at 2 or 3 of those names in particular. Let's try and eliminate some of the wrong ones, although it has to be said most of you are getting it right. I can see a shout coming in for Chris Sutton.
Nope.
I can see another one for Scott Sinclair.
You would think, but no.
You would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think we've got them
during that Brendan Rodgers era. But it is not Scott Sinclair, so keep your guesses coming, please.
Anton Deck have got all 5 now.
I don't know how.
Well, to be fair, a lot of it was Mark's work. I just come in at the end as usual.
Ghosted into the far post.
Yeah, exactly. He done the running off the ball, looked busy.
Well, I was wondering if there was a potential, not a shock as such, but a struggle brewing, because Hibs hadn't heard much from them at Forfar, but they've just been given a penalty, and it's been saved. Joe Newell's penalty saved by the Forfar goalkeeper. So there you go. So you start to wobble a little bit.
So much from warm weather training in Dubai. Come back, can't even take a penalty.
It's not the ideal place to go, is it? After that freezing cold in Forfar from Dubai.
Do you know what? I was completely different.
Yeah, sorry, there's another one I've just said about the Twitter accounts. Forfar Athletics official account: penalty Hibs, scandalous decisions. Just tell us what's happened. We don't need an opinion piece.
Your feelings on it.
I actually didn't mind playing it in Forfar.
No, Forfar was okay.
I didn't mind it at all.
It's not Dubai though, is it? I think that was the point Hugh was trying to make.
No, but it was Mark who made the point about it's not the ideal place to go.
Nowhere is, apart from Dubai. When you're coming back to anywhere in the UK from Dubai, it's not ideal
as well, isn't it?
But Forfar's.
I take the view the club have wasted their money. They've taken this lot out to Dubai, given them warm weather training. They come back, because the temperature's different, they can't cope with it. Sack a lot of them.
It's incredible now. I wish there was a player nowadays, the journeys they get.
Yeah.
You know what? I missed all the winter break.
We don't even like holidays.
We used to play golf. I used to go to Portadown. You know what I mean? That was a highlight of our pre-season. Jimmy Nicholl, Irishman, where do you think we're going? Portadown, on we go.
I missed all the mid-season break. So when I was coming through at Dundee United, the mid-season break was there, but I was still a YTS, and the first team used to go to Florida every year. Then when I got in the first team, they scrapped the winter break. I then played, and then when I retired or was on my way out, they brought it back again. So I missed it all the time.
Listen, my heart bleeds for you. How many fancy trips did you go on as a Celtic
In the summer exactly. It was alright. We did not too bad. Yeah, the old first class travel was pretty decent.
Disgusting.
The choice of meals you used to get, and
what was your favourite one?
Is that what you remind of?
Yeah. It's going to be the first one. When we went to America, and I'd just signed 6 months previous, and we were going to America. We were touring like the East Coast, and somebody said we've got business class, but you need to be a certain age to get it. And I'm 21, 22 at the time, and I'm going, because it was, there was some youth players there. I think like Simon Ferry and that was kicking a bit, and I was thinking, if I met the threshold. And you only knew when you get handed your ticket and check in. I got one.
Did you?
I was so happy. And the rest were sitting in premium economy.
So like 21 and over.
Well, Gordon was big into that, because he brought 21, was it 22 and younger were in a week before the rest in pre-season. We did all the running at Crown Point running track, and then the next week all the big hitters came back, and they were saying, how was pre-season for you? And they're going, it was really difficult. You've got that coming. We had to do it again with them, another week of that, and then we jetted off to America.
Different.
Now the penny drops. That's why Simon Ferry says he was a crawler with Strachan. He was up
in business class, first class.
He's up in first.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. We did that plenty of time.
I'll get your soup, Gaffer. I'll get it. You wait there.
By the way, it still remains one of my favourite times in this show, at Hampden, where he came up when I was speaking to Gordon Strachan, and he tried to be funny, and Strachan didn't even know.
You played against me in cup finals. That's how
he put you right in your place.
I know. I was brilliant. And you seen him just slope off, just almost moonwalk at the conversation. I turned round and he was gone. That was great.
Anyway, there was a bit of a hold up at Livy. Treatment to a Livy player. They've missed a penalty. They're a goal down to Wraith. It's all going you know what until
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
They are now eventually level. It was on a bit of a tight angle really, but in the end managed to drill the ball home and give the home side the lead. It was Montano who'd gone off with an ankle injury. Mackay had just come on, but Jamie Brandon it is with the goal, and Livy are level.
Much needed down in their luck, and David Martindale will think that with the opportunities he's getting in terms of penalty kicks and missing them, and he'll think nothing can go right, but at least they're back in it. Long way to go though.
And producer John will have regained consciousness because Falkirk have equalised at Bonnyrigg Rose.
Indeed they have. So they're level in a few games now. If we're looking at potential shocks, then you'd have to say Motherwell 1, Alloa 1 is in the balance. Livy and Raith Rovers are a division closer to each other, but still they're level also. St Mirren haven't found an opener against Queen of the South yet, so there's not much doing. Surprisingly, the easiest game so far is the all Premiership tie. Kilmarnock were 2 up within 3 minutes, and that's the way it has stayed. Dundee looking for a way back in, but it's not come yet.
But the Killie juggernaut has moved into a lay-by because you're 2 up after 3 minutes, and 33 minutes later you're still 2 up. So you just have to be careful that Dundee don't snatch one before half time. And
you get to half time, you two, you'll be over the moon.
Absolutely.
Over the moon with that. The next goal there is so important, because if Dundee get it, you know there's always a way back. Kilmarnock get it, then they're through at the next round.
Fraser says not much happening there. 34 gone. St Mirren dominating, but Queen of the South comfortable at the back. This weekend last year we did have a couple go to penalties, didn't we? I feel like I remember this very scenario. No, brilliant. Thanks for helping me out with that.
I want to jump in there because I can't really remember, but I'm going to trust you. Yes, we did.
Sure it was.
That was enthralling. I wonder if Bill Marvin's parting the bus again. Remember? Was that last week or a couple of weeks ago against Falkirk? The worst football, but we found out that he had the majority possession.
I didn't take kindly.
Oh yes, Big Brian Woody.
Yes, Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 1. Is that going down as the shock? Perhaps it's not. There isn't much between those teams in terms of the pyramid, but Partick Thistle are 1 up in Dingwall thanks to Brian Graham. What a weekend he's got, because tomorrow his Partick Thistle women's team are going to try and get in to the Sky Sports Cup final. Of course, he does both roles. Rangers beating Celtic in a 5-goal penalty-laden thriller last night, so Rangers are through, and it'll be Partick Thistle or Hibs that join them. Big weekend for Brian Graham.
That's what I said. The Partick Thistle should not be scarred by the memory of the playoff match which they lost at Ross County. They should be driven by it. And Brian Graham is the Lawrence Shankland of Firhill, and as long as he turns up, they'll have a right chance.
It's been a great signing for him, is he not?
Yeah.
Absolutely terrific. He bangs the goals in for fun. Yeah, you're right, Gordon. I watched his interview in BBC Alba last night. Very interesting indeed. And obviously a big game tomorrow against Hibs in the semi-final.
I was asking about you the other day, yesterday.
I didn't even know Brian Graham knew who I was.
Well, I think that's what he was asking.
Like,
who is he?
Unlike Gordon Strachan, he does know who you are.
Yeah.
What's his deal?
Because he was watching the quiz the other night, and he says, "What is he like? Is he actually as stupid as that?" And
does he want me to come on his coaching staff? Is that what he's trying to get at?
No, I don't think that'd be.
Well, I tell you what,
possible.
if you look at his gold record, he's probably catching up with me.
Did wee Gordon look at the Dazzler with that wee look in his face that he has for...
Wee Gordon was all over me. He was hanging on. I was like Gina McCarry code to the top. I was like, Gordon, go. I'm going to the toilet here.
He gave him the look you as in, who is this?
No, he did.
This
I was a high
conversation.
I was a low 5. I was a low 5 to the wee guy.
Gordon Strachan's got the best range of facial expressions I've ever seen.
Do you know why? Do you know why I know Gordon so well? Because when I was getting introduced into the Hall of Fame, Gordon was there, and I had lunch with him before the event, and we sat there and went through some great laughs and times about the Scottish Cup final and playing against
even more surprising then that he told you where to go when you tried to ridicule Mark Wilson to him. Anyway, I was right. There we go. Do you not remember last year St Mirren and Dundee drew, went to penalties? No.
Yeah. No. That was that one. Yeah.
Hamilton Accies lost them. Hamilton Accies beat Ross County on penalties at this stage last year. Great.
Can't remember that one.
Absolute classics all coming back to you.
So much to remember throughout the year.
Yeah.
All we remember is the final. Remember how hot it was?
With the sunglasses. Remember my sunglasses?
It was amazing. And that's what, by the way, that's what you got to think as a player. You know, you go to these grounds far away and not ideal, small dressing rooms and that, but you've got to think the end
not
picture.
Always though. I remember, and the reason it's etched into my memory, because I was going away for an overnight after Celtic against Hearts. There was obviously the lockdown one, but the one before that, and it was torrential. Never stopped raining. Also, speaking of games you're scarred by as a youngster, the game that you claimed to have scored in against Motherwell, but
that wasn't so good either, was it?
That was pouring down. So
actually, I played in another one, the one Celtic beat us 1-0 with Dundee United Scottish Cup final, and it was torrential rain.
Well, there you are.
All day.
Exactly.
Yeah. But last year's was
a photograph
beautiful.
popped up. You and I and I had sunglasses. I don't own sunglasses.
You took someone.
Gabs.
Oh, was it Gabs? That's who it was.
Teaser, please, Hugh, if you can.
Okay, since 2000, 5 Englishmen have scored in a Scottish Cup final. Name them.
Right, come on. Get your guesses in, please, at Clyde SSB. You need to try and beat everyone else to it, so send them in. Lots of you are giving it a really good go, I have to say. There's not too many that are miles off, and some of the more obscure names I can see getting a mention, so keep them coming if you can.
Did you just say you don't own sunglasses?
No.
Not one pair?
Not one pair, no. I don't wear sunglasses.
I've never told you this.
I don't wear sunglasses. And
I don't know why I find that so strange.
I don't wear skip hats.
Oh, I thought it was something else. So I've had the misfortune of being abroad with him. I've not told you this before.
Right.
We went and played golf in Spain.
I remember you going.
Yeah. He's never worn sunglasses. And we shouldn't laugh at this because there's a health concern here. He doesn't wear sun cream.
Oh, that's dangerous, that.
Think about that beak in the sun,
right?
right?
Yeah, factor 80 on that.
And just you know, in a way that only he could, like as if he's never even considered the concept of sun cream. He just didn't wear it and
Never
just
put any sun cream on?
barbecued for the 5 days.
No, I just.
But sunglasses, even here when you're driving,
even in the winter, you need them.
Aye.
I don't wear sunglasses or skip hat. Never ever. I cannot.
Come to think it, I've never seen you wear a skip hat.
To be
on.
fair, no, I'd back you up on that. You can't be wearing I can't pull off a hat either, so I don't mind that.
There are 3 things I don't: sunglasses, skip hat, wedding ring. Never wear it. There are 3. It's a no-no.
Moving swiftly on. That Partick Thistle goal was the last one that we had to tell you about. Nothing else has happened since. We'll wait and see when we get an Andy Halliday introduction at half time.
Yes. For the half time draw.
Yeah, that's a good point. Motherwell have gone a bit quieter.
Yeah. The chants from the Alloa crowd. Halliday. They're wanting Andy on.
It's not going to plan so far. Level in that one. Livy Wraith level. St Mirren Queen of the South level. So
Hibs are a strange one, aren't they?
Yes, Hibs 4 for Hibs level.
Yeah, you would
told you they wasted their money. Took a bunch of scrap to Dubai and they come back.
By the way, I mean, even a draw there, does that put him under, pressure as well?
It has
Nick
to be
Montgomery
settled today though, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, but a draw in full. The Hibs fans surely looking at what he's doing just now, and we've said in this show that he plays attractive football but with the wrong personnel. I'm wondering who they're bringing in the January window, because he will be judging that. But where they're sitting just now in the league, Hibs fans won't be happy.
I don't think they'll be happy, but I don't think they'll make that change. I think that'd be silly. They're chopping and changing all the time. They've got to give the lad the January transfer window, see what happens, and then the end of the season.
Well, will we see any of the Josh Doig money being reinvested into the Hibs team? Because that $5 million move that the Swallow has now been confirmed. We were talking about it last night. Interesting move.
Well, they've been waiting for Bill Foley's money to come in. They're really hoping that the man who owns Bournemouth will be allowed to be an investor at Easter Road and they can use that. But I mean, it's unthinkable for Hibs to go out at Forfar.
I think that's a good idea. The money coming and used as a feeder club for your clubs.
I don't see why it should be stopped, I have to say, because if it prospers Hibs, makes them better. I mean, all clubs in Scotland are feeder clubs to an extent, because if somebody comes and wants Matt O'Reilly, they'll get him.
That's not feeder though, is it? That's a million miles away from any sort of thought of dual ownership.
But he doesn't want dual ownership. He just wants to be an investor in the club. Dual ownership is not permitted under the rules, so he wants to invest. And I think if people want to invest in clubs out with Celtic and Rangers, they shouldn't be prevented from doing so.
Well, we will see. It's one to watch with interest for sure in the coming weeks. We've got enough on our plate during these 3 o'clock games today. There was another injury hold-up, Turner down for Wraith, but should be okay. Going to be a good while added on at the end of that first half by the looks of it.
How many of the guys are sitting at the games just now going, please don't let this go to extra time?
Every one of them. Every one of them. I no extra money, guys, for extra time. Same fee.
Sitting there, I remember Livingston and Wraith it was, and I honestly was thinking, right, how can I break the kit and I'm looking. I thought I couldn't do another 30 minutes of this. It was horrendous.
That's the least
Some people
professional
are actually,
statement I've ever heard.
Some people actually have to go and work for a living, and you're complaining about getting sent to a football
I
game.
got there, but my clock stopped at 5 o'clock. You don't see workies.
By the way, speaking of my debut for Dundee United in the Scottish Cup, I think I made my debut for an outside broadcast for Radio Clyde at Livingston v Morton, I think it was, in the Scottish Cup as well. I got sent by myself with the kit, thinking, opening it up, going, I
used to play in the Champions League.
And now somebody's entrusting me with this.
But here we
thing
have
with
a proud radio station celebrating its 50th anniversary. And a man says, how can I break the kit?
Hugh, I was honestly, I've never been so cold in all my life. The game was absolutely terrible, and I'm thinking, I need to get out of here. I'm not sitting here for an hour 30 minutes. Right, and I'm looking for.
That's disgusting. I hate that from you.
Look,
I really do.
There's no.
Partick Thistle have gone 2 up at Ross County. How would Partick Thistle do against Morecambe? That's what you've got to ask yourself, really. That would be a good game by the looks of it. It'd be tight against each other. It's half time. Great time to score and all that, as the cliche goes. Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 2, half time.
Derek Adams is turning into the Michael Beale of the Heelands.
Scott Robinson just back for injury.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, let's round off that teaser. Hopefully I've got a podium to tell me who has been the winners. You ready, Hugh?
Yep.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Since 2005, Englishmen have scored in a Scottish Cup final. They are Josh Ginnelly for Hearts, James Vincent for Inverness Cally Thistle, Gary Hooper for Celtic, Danny Granger for Hearts, and Alan Thompson for Celtic.
Really good response to this, and lots of you got it right. I have to say, brilliant knowledge out there. In third place was Derek FM. Well done to you, Derek. Celtic Stats and Trivia. With a name like that, you'd expect him to be good at these things. Second place, and the winner was Dylan Patton. Well done for winning the first half teaser. We'll get Gordon Dalziel's favourite quiz format, the Who Am I, a bit later on, once the second halves get underway. Inverness looked like they could be heading for a tricky opening half against Broomhill, but they've opened the scoring. Not 1 second of stoppage time at St Mirren, which maybe tells its own story. Fraser?
Yeah, it does tell its own story. Very little has happened, even in the way of injuries or anything at all. It's been a very, very tame affair so far. St Mirren 0, Queen of the South 0, and one of those games St Mirren dominating possession, but good chances few and far between. Queen's very comfortable at the back. Saints' build-up's just been too slow, allowing Queen's back three to settle, but to be honest, at the other end, Zach Hemming's been virtually a spectator. But Jonah Younger did have a shot early on. It was a sharp turn on his shot from 20 yards, bounced awkwardly in front of Harry Stone. The young keeper had his body behind the ball. Skipper Marcus Rader then get his head to a boy in one's corner. It was the closest St Mirren came to scoring. Really good save by Stone at full stretch, just under the corner of the post, and the bar. He turned the ball over. Kilty did have the ball in the back of the net in 19 minutes. The goal was disallowed for offside, though. Younger, really good shot in the turn, saved well by Stone at full stretch to his right, and Kilty turned the rebound into the empty net, but the flag was up and no VAR to check. 28 minutes, Kilty again close to the opener, left foot shot from 20 yards curled about a yard wide. Stone at full stretch was probably beaten. Queen's comfortable at back, as I said earlier, but rarely seen an attack. Connolly very lively and good on the ball in number 10 position. Lewis Gibson burst forward on the left hand side, looks so like his dad Willie, the way he runs, and he had a half chance. He tried to go around Gogic, but Gogic blocked his shot well, and Connolly then, his touch let him down for once in the game. Gibson with the cross on the left hand side, 6 yard box. Connolly in space, just had to bring it down, but his touch was heavy and Hemmings jumped on the ball. Paul Mackay then had a shot from 25 yards for Queens over the bar, and then Stone at the other end was very quickly off his line to foil Kilty. It was a long ball over the top, and the Saints winger was first to the ball. He got a touch, but Stone stood up really well and chested the ball away. The game needs a goal. Saints will need to up their tempo if they're going to break down this Queen's back three, who have played very well so far. Half time, St Mirren 0, Queen of the South 0.
What about Motherwell against Alloa, David Friel?
Yeah, what about Motherwell? Half time, Motherwell 1, Alloa 1. I've just watched the Motherwell keeper Liam Kelly go off shaking his head, and a few cheers from the fans as well. I think everybody's wondering where Motherwell are going in this game and how they're actually level, because they've dominated but they are 1-1 at the break. Connor Salmon played for Motherwell about 5 years ago, didn't have the most prolific spell, but he's come back to haunt his old club today with an equaliser. Alloa fans, very rowdy, tiny bunch, dream of a major upset here. Motherwell, as I said, they're dominated, but Salmon claimed a brilliant leveller, and you can feel the nerves around Fir Park right now. Motherwell got off to a perfect start. Bliss Whittle grabbed the opener in the second minute. Adam Montgomery's been excellent in his debut, setting a perfect cutback from the left. Spittle took it first time and in off the underside of the bar. Motherwell looked confident at that moment. He kept probing for a second. He created chances. Bliss Whittle had a shot blocked after a good move down the right. Theo Bair, he then broke into the box. He was denied by PJ Morrison. But Stuart Kettlewell, he never really looked settled or happy in the touchline. He demanded more from his players. Alloa playing some nice stuff, but didn't really offer a threat until the 27th minute. Stefan Skugel led a breakaway. He found Salmon on the left angle of the box. He thought he was going to cross it, but instead the 37-year-old opted to go alone, curled a superb finish into the bottom corner. What a goal it was. It was Alloa's only shot on goal in the first half, but it does seem to have spooked Motherwell a little bit. As I say, Stuart Kettlewell, not the happiest man, doesn't have much on the bench, and he needs more from his players to avoid a major upset here. Half time, Motherwell 1, Alloa 1.
It's also half time, whistle starting to go elsewhere. Who was next? It was Roger Hannah. A fast start to the game at Rugby Park. How's it been?
Yeah, Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 0. If you're going to lose a goal, lose it early, Gordon. And if you're going to lose two, well, maybe lose them early as well. Dundee were 2 down inside 2.5 minutes at Rugby Park. Disastrous start. Kyle Vassell, the home skipper, scoring after just 18 seconds. Poking out a leg to knock the ball under goalkeeper Adam Legson's, and it dribbled over the line for the opener. If that rocked Dundee back in their heels, well, worse was to follow. Danny Armstrong's free kick in from the right. There was Marley Watkins, a glancing header at the near post beyond Legson's for 2-0. Dundee have huffed and puffed. They've tried hard to get back into the game. Long throw-ins from Joe Shaughnessy being a real weapon, but Kieran O'Hara, making his first start in the Kilmarnock goals, managed to deal with most things. Stuart Finlay, he enjoyed an escape after 29 minutes, slicing across inches past his own post. It was in a couple of saves from O'Hara, first from Amadou Bakayoko at the near post, before Dara Costello in his Dundee debut glanced a header wide from Luke McCowan's corners. Dundee problems they deepened when goalkeeper Legsons had to come off injured after 37 minutes. Harrison Sharp, the third choice goalie, just recalled from a loan spell at Dunfermline yesterday, he came on, but it was O'Hara again called into action before the break, punching away another throw-in by Shaughnessy and a corner by Luke McCowan, and McCowan came close in stoppage time at the end of the half to giving Dundee a foothold. Bakayoko playing him in a left foot shot from just inside the box, but inches wide of the post. Dundee will really need to buck up their ideas, because that was a disastrous start. Kelly 2, Dundee 0.
Still waiting on Dave Galloway. Livy against Raith has had so many injuries, and it's now a corner to Raith. I'll tell you what, we'll give you the half-time picture from Livingston after these.
Taking your calls on Scottish football. 0141 951 1025. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time whistle has now gone at Livingston. Let's get the story there with Dave Galloway.
Half-time, Livingston 1, Raith Rovers 1. What a start by Raith, who took a 5th minute lead. Aidan Connolly with a ball over the top, and Jack Hamilton's shot went through Shamal George's legs. Livingston came into things. Scott Pittman last one over the bar. Andrew Shinnie had a shot charged down, and they won a penalty when Shinnie was brought down by Callum Smith. But Shinnie's spot kick, just to show how unlucky some people can be, it hit the post, then keeper Kevin Dabrowski, and somehow stayed out. The hosts, though, they kept at it, they kept the heads up, and they equalised deservedly after 33 minutes. Jamie Brandon blasted into the net from a very tight angle on the right hand side after a long ball by Daniel Mackay. A really good finish. A close, keenly contested cup tie so far, with some rather meaty challenges, shall we say, and a few delays for treatment as well. Could this game be headed for extra time? There's little to choose between the sides at the interval. Rovers finishing the half with a bit of a flourish, forcing a couple of corners which came to nothing. But at the interval, it's Livingston 1, Raith Rovers 1.
Interesting games then. I'll bring you up to speed with the scores in the Scottish Cup. Full time, Spartans 1, Hearts 2. At the break, Airdrie 0, St Johnstone 0, Ayr 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Falkirk 1, Forfar 0, Hibs 0, Inverness 1, Broomhill 0, Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 0, Livingston 1, Raith Rovers 1, Morton 1, Montrose 0, Motherwell 1, Alloa 1, Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 2, and St Mirren 0, Queen of the South 0. The second halves are coming up next.
Taking your calls on Scottish football. 0141 951 1025. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast with Lookers. New or used, they've got something for every taste. Visit them today.
I wear a few different hats as a CFO. You know, sometimes it's referred to as Chief Fixing Officer. Wherever there's a fire in the business, you know, I'm often there first.
Whatever hat CFOs like Imran need to wear, Sage's tools and insights can make sure they fit. Sage, helping business flow.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast with lookers.co.uk. Choose from 30 manufacturers and over 6,000 vehicles online. Number one for football in Glasgow and the West. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's getting underway round the country in the 3 o'clock Scottish Cup games. Motherwell back underway, no changes. That means we'll have to wait for an Andy Halliday debut. Will it come in this second half? Fraser Wishart, none of the top flight teams who are playing lower league opposition are getting it their own way at all. How are things looking at St Mirren? Are the home crowd a bit restless?
Yeah, a wee bit restless at half time, Gordon. Just one or two sort of rumblings towards half time as well when players are making mistakes. If they get one, they might get three, St Mirren, but it's getting that one is going to be the big problem, because as I said earlier, they're just too slow in their build up. They're allowing Queens to get back into position. They've got a back five, they're hitting on the break once or twice, Queens as well, but very comfortable, you know. All credit to Queens of the South. Effie Ambrose marshalling two young lads on either side of them, Kyle McClellan and Jack Bryan on loan there, and they're all doing very well. But from a certain perspective, you know, they might have to look at their bench. Maybe Michael Mandron, might have to maybe Lewis Jimison as well, the youngster, a couple of strikers on, because at the moment very, very powder puff. And Harry Stone in the Queen's goal has also been good when called upon, but he's not been called upon enough for the St Mirren supporters' liking. So I think a quick electric start to the second half is what the Saints fans are looking for.
Kwon on his first competitive start in Scotland, has he found it eye-opening?
I think he's been tidy. Yeah, I mean, he's the type of player who sits behind the ball. Him and Colin Boyne Munce are just moving the ball quite nicely. They're just kind of keeping things moving, trying to get the likes of Kilty and McMenamin on the ball. But yeah, he's been good so far, hasn't made any mistakes. Nothing spectacular. I don't think he's that type of player. He's somebody who needs good players around him so he can break the play up and make his challenges. So yeah, he's been okay so far, but nothing spectacular. Well, having said that, he'll probably go rifle one in from 30 yards on my luck, but certainly the game needs a goal. Gordon's just about to start this second half, and there's been a change for Queen of the South, but they'll probably fancy their chances the longer this game goes of just pinching one.
Well, Rugby Park is interesting because Tony Dock knows his way around. He's in the away changing room. I wonder if he's given his players a bit of a rocket at half time, Roger.
Yeah, and he's probably wishing he'd given them a rocket just before kick-off, because to say it was a sluggish start is something of an understatement. 2 down after 2.5 minutes, quite an incredible start. Kyle Bissell and Marley Watkins, the two Killie front men, both on target, and it just gave Dundee a mountain to climb. I know they've drawn 2-2 with Kilmarnock in both Premiership meetings this season, Gordon. They'll be doing very well to get back into this game, because they've been poor and were really rocked back on their heels. But a lightning start by Killie.
Looking forward to it then. Let's see what Scottish Cup drama we have in store. 45 minutes, maybe more, away from finding out who progresses this afternoon.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get the help you need to quit with the smoking cessation programme.
Well, it's poised everywhere, Hugh Keevins, apart from the game that's got the two most evenly matched teams, and that's Kilmarnock and Dundee. But everywhere else, anything could happen.
St Johnstone on the tightrope, Motherwell on the tightrope, so Livy on the tightrope as well. Dundee halfway out.
I would take it back to an extent, because Ross County are more than on the tightrope, 2-0 down.
They've fallen and there's no safety net. So tomorrow night's draw could be minus a few Premiership sides unless they are careful in the second half. But all credit to Partick Thistle. Magnificent scoreline so far, not yet a result, but surely the past will not haunt them. The past will inspire them to hold on to that lead this time instead of throwing it away in the most dramatic fashion, and they would enjoy that long journey back down the road. Storm Isha could do whatever it likes to the team bus going down the road. if they've won.
I've actually got a responsible message to give you on the back of Storm Isha, because the Met Office has issued an amber weather warning for high winds. Genuinely, the last thing I did before leaving the house this morning was rescue the trampoline from the back garden again. So Ready Scotland, they've got a list of tips to stay safe. Just trying to make sure that everything's okay in the next couple of days. Make sure you do secure all those loose outdoor objects like I've been doing, but also guttering and pipes and roof tiles and fences, that sort of thing. You could check in on your friends or neighbours if they need any help. If you're going to have to travel, give yourself extra time. I'm sure many of you already do this, but take a winter car kit, a warm jacket, boots and a blanket, all that sort of stuff. We know there's a lot of travelling being done. The longer journey times and cancellations could be likely, whether that's road, rail, air, ferry services. If you're out by the coast, take care there as well, and where possible, make sure you're parking away from trees and walls and things that might blow over. Keep a supply of your essential foods as these three tuck into their pies at half time. I don't know if that counts. Bottled water for your family and pets. All the information you need to stay safe is at visitready.scot. So the games, though, surviving the weather for the most part, apart from Gordon Dale's big prediction about Cove Rangers not realising that's actually off.
That one just escaped me. And also, on that notice, keep your doors closed. You never know who walks in.
Yes, this was the week that you had an intruder who walked right through your front door, right up your hall, because he thought it was someone else's house, basically, and he walked right in and caught you doing, what was it?
Unfortunately, I was just watching the TV. I jumped up very quickly. Okay, my hair was all over the place.
How do you like so flustered?
As you do. My cheeks were a bit red.
Just had the heating on, didn't you? Really?
On your face.
Yeah, I had my back to him at the time. But that was a wee exciting moment, I've got to say.
Brilliant. And I then, for anyone who didn't hear it, I happened to know the person.
You did?
And they sent me a message straight away to say, I can't believe this, I've just walked in on Gordon DL's house, tell him I'm sorry, all that sort of stuff. So it was good drama.
Yeah, he walked in shouting and talking about
don't say what he was shouting.
No, I'm not going to. And I thought, oh my goodness, I've got a robber in here. He's always
alert.
Yeah, so obviously I flexed the muscles, Mark. You know what like I was. Puffed the chest out, made myself look big. Yes,
I bet he was terrified when he saw you.
No, I was holding the door going, who is it?
Is Gordon Dale's house in Motherwell not a listed building? I mean, do they have no sense of tradition and history there? Is it not a blue plaque outside?
Security and everything.
Why was your door not locked?
There's a wee story about that. I don't want to really get into Mark, and I don't think you should have brought that up.
I wonder why.
We'll quickly tell you that Morton are 2 up against Montrose and swiftly move on.
Well, here's the thing, because I'll go anywhere really in conversations on this show. I was about to ask you if you lock your front door when you're in the house, and then I just very quickly realised about how irresponsible that conversation could be. So we'll just move on.
Burglars everywhere rubbing their hands.
Gordon does now lock his door, right, because after his incident the other night. So stay away.
There'll be a blue plaque there soon. Gordon DL lived here.
Give me a wee bit more time. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh wow. Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 3.
Oh, it's my assistant that scored as well.
Your assistant?
He's my assistant,
Stuart Bannigan.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Derek Adams' time at Ross County has been an unqualified disaster with the stupid remarks that he made about the standard of Scottish football. If you're going to make those remarks, then you better be able to do something to improve it, and that is not improving it any. Good old Partick Thistle, they are home and hosed.
Yeah, there is, score lines that will raise a few eyebrows. We all thought that would be close, and kind of maybe thought Thistle might have a chance. It was going to be hard for them, but 3-0 after 54 minutes. Good for Stuart Bannigan.
Result of the day brewing, but Alloa and Forfar and Queen of the South and others might still have other ideas. Whilst we set ourselves up for that drama, Hugh, let's do this.
Second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Dazzler, I think you have been wrongly impugned.
I'm not even bothered.
I'll tell
now.
you what that means later. But this is a real toughie for you.
This is brutal. It really is.
I have played alongside John Sutton and Theo Walcott. I have been managed by Craig Levine and Derek McInnes. I have scored in European competition and my only major honour was a Scottish Cup victory. Who am I? Played alongside John Sutton and Theo Walcott, managed by Craig Levein and Derek McInnes, scored in European competition, and my only major honour was a Scottish Cup victory. Who am I?
It is an absolute cracker. It really is. I'm going to say too much, so I'll leave it there. But all I will say, if you can get that one, I will be seriously impressed.
Yeah. Not as impressed as Airdrie's fans by going 1-up.
Yeah, it could be a shock there. As we said, it's not a huge shock, but they're in different divisions. Top flight team, Airdrie 1, St Johnstone 0. Nikolai Todorov on 54 minutes. I'm always intrigued by this as to whether a manager is giving someone a chance to shake something off, or if within 5 minutes of the second half he's sick of what he's seeing. Lennon Miller makes his return to the Motherwell team. He's been brought on 5 minutes into the second half in place of Bevis Mugabe, to replace Bevis Mugabe. So Stephen O'Donnell moves into the back three, and I'm sure Motherwell fans absolutely delighted to see the return of Lennon Miller. Mark Wilson.
He certainly will be. Met his dad Lee midweek in the gym. He was saying he was looking to play in a bounce game. I think it was against East Kilbride, was it midweek? So been a long time for the kid, but he's an important part of Motherwell's side. Started the season brilliantly. He'll look to kick on for the second half of the season.
In November, a defeat against Aberdeen. In fact, on the 1st of November was his last appearance, Gordon, so it's been a while. He's only played 14 games this season. That includes the League Cup group stages at the start. In some ways, it's you can look at it two ways. It's either big credit to him for how good he is, or an indictment of where Motherwell are at, that they're really kind of relying on a 17-year-old coming back in and making an impact.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Gordon. I think it's the fact that he's such a talent, and he was certainly missed. It's a great boost for Motherwell, especially when they're losing influential players, to get the young lad back. Look, he's 17. There's a lot to come from him, but he's an important part of Motherwell's setup so far.
Could be quite a day for the sons of famous fathers. Lennon Miller on the park there for Motherwell. Could Gallagher Lennon play for Dumbarton against Rangers in the Scottish Cup, having joined them on loan?
Yeah, going to be interesting team news to come from that game, I am sure. We're still waiting on some more updates. There we are. The St Mirren have hit the bar. That's as close as they've come, you'd have to say. 25 yards out. Scott Tanzer, I think it was last week, wasn't it? We had good fun with Marvin Bartley because they conceded straight after half time. So we said his team talk must have been rotten, and I told him as much. But there we go.
He's escaped one.
He's not done yet.
Could be his day.
He is not done yet.
Not many fancied him against Dundee United, did he? That's when he was under pressure, and you know there was all sorts of journalists in there maybe expecting a shock or Marvin to get.
Do you know something? I honestly didn't think they would be 0-0 now, but his game plan must be saying keep us in this for another 15-20 minutes, and all of a sudden St Mirren get nervous.
Oh yeah,
you know that the favourites always start. If you're the underdog, keep yourself in that game, and then get to that 70-75 minute mark, all of a sudden a little bit of nerves creep into the favourites.
St Mirren also started this season on fire, and we were full of praise for Stephen Robinson and everything that was going on there, but they've gone off the tracks. You know, that things aren't going their own way. Before the break, Celtic went there and absolutely took them apart. So they're toiling a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose still fifth, and had that good 3-0 win against Aberdeen just before the turn of the year. But yeah, certainly not been as plain sailing as it was in the opening period of that season, which can happen. Connolly races through for Wraith Rovers, but just a bit of composure lacking, lashes it over the bar, and we move on in that one. Still Livy 1, Wraith 1. Remember, Motherwell and Alloa are level 1 each at Fir Park. So there's a few there. There's a few in the balance.
You know, with regard to the draw tomorrow night, as things stand at the moment, Dundee, you'd have to say 2-0 down at Kilmarnock. They're not coming back anytime soon. Ross County 3-0 down at home to Partick Thistle, and St Johnstone a goal down to Airdrie. That's a quarter of our Premiership who may not be in this draw tomorrow night.
Yeah, and by all accounts, Forfar should be beating Hibs, arguably doing pretty well. We've got a goal at Fir Park. Which way is it gone though?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And the home side are back in front. It's Georgie Gent playing a bit further up the pitch today, as we told you earlier. 16 yards out to be precise, says David Friel. Nice touch, great finish. And Motherwell start the second half the way they started the first. Not quite as quick, of course. We are approaching that hour mark, but it's Motherwell 2, Alloa 1.
And he's a proper gent for putting them in 2-1 in front. Surely Andy Halliday will be brought on soon to consolidate that team.
5 at the back. No, listen, that's a response the Motherwell manager's looking for. He's probably had a few strong words in that dressing room, looking for a response. And it's brilliant if you get in there, you have a word with one or two of the players, you look for that response, they come out, they give you it right away. But as I keep saying, the one thing, if you're Alloa, you'll always think Motherwell give up goals at Fir Park.
You're coming across as a very pessimistic Motherwell fan here.
I'm not. I don't like the way they conceded for Park, Hugh. If you look at the record recently, it's so easy to score against them for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Is it as easy to get behind their defence as it is to get in your front door?
Oh, probably easier. I've got to say.
Honestly, the delight when that news reached me that someone I knew had accidentally broken into your house. I just
yeah, but there's always suspicion, right? You're sitting there, this incident happened, eventually I've cleared it up, I've got the lad out, it's fine, no problem. And 2 seconds later my phone rings. Who do you think it is? Detective Duncan. Is someone just going in your front door? There's been a bit of a set up here.
Believe me, this was too ludicrous even for me to dream up. It was just one of these things that falls perfectly in place. Ayr United have taken the lead against Kelty Hearts. Roy Silla with the goal there. Managerless Ayr, of course, taking the lead in that one. Going to bring you team news from Dumbarton very, very soon indeed. Curtis Main and Owen Dodgson are on for their Dundee debuts. Interested in that Curtis Main signing. I know he's been about a bit, and St Mirren last season was very good.
Yeah.
What was his last club, Gordon? He left
in India. Yeah, I saw the way they released it. Did you see it with the street names and then just panning the camera around to Main Street? You know, quite like that. But he's a good player. Dundee certainly need him this afternoon, that's for sure. I wonder who's taking that Ayr United team. I'm just curious because Aidan McGeady is in a position of, is it technical director?
Yeah.
And you know, when the management depart, I wonder if he had to step up.
He must have more
Roger
experience.
will tell you, because he's well in there.
Yeah, but he must have more experience than anybody else who's there.
Davy White is the caretaker at Ayr currently. Motherwell have a penalty. It's Taggart on Gent. I wonder who'll take that one. Yeah, Blair Spittle I thought might be the obvious candidate. He's the one that opened the scoring, and he's going to take this afternoon to try and make it a lot more comfortable for that. Surely, if this is, well, I won't prejudge, okay?
Yeah.
I won't jinx it, won't get carried away. Let's see what Blair Spittle can do. We've already seen Hibs miss a penalty. Livy have missed a penalty as well. So the top flight teams have not enjoyed their opportunities from 12 yards today. There's now a delay because Taggart, that's a nightmare. You get injured giving away a penalty. Yeah, it's a bad combination.
He was my car share buddy when we were at Dumbarton together. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. We used to travel from Cumbernauld to Tory Glen for training and sometimes at the stadium.
Speaking of Taggart,
where's this going?
It's been a murder.
Mike Mannett,
Colin McCready, one of the actors in Taggart. I met him during the week at a memorial service for the great Sheila Duffy, who worked here for many years. And he came up, I'd never met him before, and he came up and said, a draw is a disaster, a defeat's a catastrophe. Big St Johnston fan, didn't know that. I'd never met him. Nice man.
Yeah.
And a big Super Scoreboard listener.
There you go.
I
thought he was going to call you a specky tube, but that was a bit more polite, to be fair. Right, we are going to do the team from Dumbarton in just a second, but let's hold it there and see if that penalty goes in at Fir Park. Taggart is now going off.
Yeah, that'll be a goal. That game's over. Yeah, I fancy Spittle.
Top flight teams, as we said, have not been vintage from the penalty spot so far today. Joe Newell and Andrew Shinney not managing to do it.
But not great pressure on him. It's not like Alloa 1-0 up. He has to score this to get back in. This finishes the game. I think he'll be calm and put this one away.
I agree with you. If he scores, that's that. 3-1. Alloa don't come back from that.
I wish they would hurry up because it's quite the delay here, and I'm keen to get to Dumbarton for team news.
I have a Dumbarton question for that uppity boy Antonazzi who criticised my Italian pronunciation the other day there. I've got a Dumbarton question to see if he's done his research.
Well, we will
He would. He leaves no stone unturned.
Blair Spittle is going to take this, as we told you 10 minutes ago.
You'll need a miner's lamp to take it if it gets any darker.
It's now been confirmed. Is it? Will it be? Is it your flat end or is it the opposite end? I don't know which way Motherwell are shooting.
Well, if they're shooting
the normal
left
way,
at the
you
tunnel,
would think.
yeah. If you come out tunnel shooting left, they're right into my window.
Have you left it open?
Yeah, I have. I've just thought about that.
Yeah.
They'll be freezing.
Saved.
What? Oh, no
3
way.
Premiership teams have missed penalties against lower league opposition already this afternoon, and maybe that one is not over yet. Motherwell could have wrapped it up. They would have sent for Andy Halliday at that point surely, but it remains Motherwell 2, Alloa 1. A great save from PJ Morrison, who used to be at Motherwell as a kid. There you go. Right, Dumbarton against Rangers. Who has been given the nod to play today, Gabriel?
Thanks, Gordon, and yes, good evening from Dumbarton. Game on here. It was doubtful, but the pitch may be boggy. It is playable. Philippe Clement's just been out of the tunnel having a look at the surface, and he's just named his Rangers team, who will face Dumbarton in the Scottish Cup 4th round. Of course, it's the Gers' first game in 2.5 weeks. They've not made any signings since that 2-0 win against Kilmarnock on January the 2nd. Fabio Silva is on the bench again today. He's the only player that they've brought in this window, and it is 3 changes to the team since that day, Gordon. Jack Butland is rested, he's on the bench. Kieran Dowell is out for 2 months with an ankle injury, whilst Abdullah Sima is away with Senegal at the Africa Cup of Nations. In come McCrory, Raskin and Matondo. So the team is as follows: Robbie McCrory in goal, a defence of James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Suter and Redvan Yilmaz. It'll be John Lundstrom and Nicola Raskin in the middle of the park, with Todd Cantwell just in front of them, Ross McCordsland and Rabin Matondo the wingers. Cyril Dessers leads the line. Substitutes: Butland, Silva, Jack, Lawrence, Wright, Balogun, Barisic, Devine and Rice. I'll bring you the Dumbarton team news when it does come, Gordon, but I'm prepared for Hugh. Give me your best shot.
Okay, Michael Corleone, listen up. Dumbarton last won the Scottish Cup in what year?
Oh, he's never going to know that.
1882.
You're a year out. It was 1883.
Lucky Gabs.
Good guess, Gabs.
You nearly gave me the fright of my life there by getting that correct.
Yeah, it's easy for Hugh to remember. It was the year he started school. But there we go. Thank you very much to Gabriel. We'll get the Dumbarton team. What jumps out from the Rangers team for you, Gordon DL?
I think Silva. I thought he would
Silva
have,
not playing.
Yeah, I thought he would have. Obviously, you know, he's getting up to speed playing with Rangers. You're away to Dumbarton, you're going to have a lot of the ball. I'm quite surprised with that. I really am. But it's interesting. Dessers come on the other night there. I know he's come in for a fair bit of criticism in this show. Gets his goal. He's going with him again today. If you're going to be a serious player with Rangers, you've got to score goals, especially today against Dumbarton, because there'll be plenty of chances created. Mark,
we are bound to put a lot of attention. It's the first game back, and I said earlier you're looking for which players start the game and so on. I think a lot of Rangers fans just thought they would see a real run of Fabio Silva. He had the 2 friendlies from the beginning, but maybe, well, he'll have to do it off the bench today, if anything.
I think that's a strange one. I really do. If you're bringing in a player to make an impact, he's been brought in just before the break, so he's been integrated into the squad. He's been given the opportunity to go away in the warm weather training camp and play a couple of friendlies. Dessers, like, we keep going over old ground with Dessers and what the fans think of Dessers and what he's not achieved at Rangers so far. So why wouldn't you give this guy a go? And particularly tonight, no disrespect to Dumbarton, there's going to be plenty of chances there. So it's a great way to get his Rangers career kick started. A strange one that for me.
Strong team though. Like, if that one area, that's not a team that looks like it's taking any chances though.
No, I think where he's looked at the wide areas, Matondo on one side, McCausland the other, bit of pace, bit of width, get in behind Dumbarton, because you would imagine Dumbarton will just sit everyone behind the ball, make it difficult for Rangers to break them down through the middle. So I think the Rangers managers looked at that and thought, right, I'm going to use the width of this pitch as much as I possibly can. And yeah, it's a very strong Rangers team. You expect him to win that very easily.
I go back to the Derek McInnes quote of the day: attack the competition. Now, he's done it with his Kilmarnock side. Philippe Clement already has the first major trophy of the season at Ibrox. He wants the Scottish Cup and he wants a treble. It's as simple as that. So although it's Dumbarton and circumstances are difficult with the weather, one stand at the Dumbarton ground, it'll be howling there, but you're as close to your best team out and you get the job done. I think that's the Clement modus operandi.
Ooh, sigh of relief coming from Forfar. Christian Doig has opened the scoring for Hibs. Forfar 0, Hibs 1. It's taken them a while. 69 minutes on the clock. Gabriel, aside from the fact that the game was almost off, Philippe Clement still has concerns over the pitch, doesn't he? He clearly doesn't like the standard of it. How's it looking?
Yeah, Gordon, I was here on Wednesday morning for press with Stevie Fallon and Dumbarton players, and I was highly doubtful that it was going to be on. The whole pitch was frozen over. I mean, it was getting plenty of sun, but with temperatures due to freeze throughout the rest of the week, didn't think it would be on. And then spoke to Philippe Clement yesterday, and he said, he described the pitch as really bad. He hadn't been down personally, but he'd shown lots of video footage of it, and he suggested that the quality of the surface will affect the standard of football his side can produce. But I mean, it's boggy, Gordon, but it's certainly playable. You know, boys and girls, men and women all across the country play on pitches much worse than this every single weekend. So it is playable. It's far from ideal. But again, Clement said it's no excuse and that his team should be able to win in the car park if that's where they played. And that winning tonight and securing a place in the fifth round is all they are interested in. As you said, though, it is a proper League Two stadium here. Just one stand. It's very windy as well. And there's no desks for half of us poor reporters here in the stadium, including myself. I've got the laptop on my legs, radio kit underneath my seat. It's a tight squeeze. Kickoff can't come quick enough.
Looking forward to out of the ex-professional footballers in the studio, you're the only one that played in the era of good pitches, Mark Wilson. They were all bogs in his day. Obviously Rangers should still win. Obviously it's not an excuse, but there's also no point in pretending that it's the exact same as if the game was at Ibrox. It's just not. It's just a leveler, isn't it? And that's something that Rangers will just need to overcome.
Without doubt, when you go to these grounds like Dumbarton with only one stand, Gabriel's right to mention that, because the wind comes in through all angles. When you're playing in Ibrox or Celtic Park, you're enclosed, the surface is nice, you can move the ball quickly. So when they're coming up against a bit of bog with the weather elements wrapped around, it does make it a more difficult occasion.
Is it not one of the great Scottish football injustices, Hugh, that the one stand doesn't face the rock?
Exactly.
If you're only going to have one, let it face the rock. Surely.
But I feel for Gabriel, the weather, all that's going on there. You know, if Derek McInnes had the quote of the day from the managerial profession, the quote of the day from the journalistic profession, Gabriel, bear in mind the words of Gordon Daziel, who said, "How could I break this kit?"
I get locked in there, Hugh.
That's right, remember that?
I get
a real high point for the
Gabs,
show, actually.
I am with Gabs 100%. I feel for the boy. I might go down after a game and take him a blanket. So worst place in the world. All of a sudden I was sitting there.
It's not the worst place in the world, is
it? For me. And they turned the lights off, right? I'm in darkness, can't see a thing, right? I'm going about looking for a ladder. The doors are all locked. I'm having to phone here. There, Gordon thinks I'm lying, which I wasn't for once.
Whatever would give him that idea.
Right? And I had to phone Jim Duffy to ask somebody to come and
the
open the doors.
manager.
To come and open the doors and let me out.
I don't know why he's moaning about not having a desk, because he'll have to drive home with a laptop on his knee and the kit under his legs with the size his car he's got.
He sent the laptop in the taxi. His glove compartment was full.
Got a big goal in Paisley.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
That noise you hear is Marvin Bartley's heart breaking. It's St Mirren 1, Queen of the South 0. It had just started getting a bit quiet, a bit eerie. St Mirren fans wondering what was happening, and up pops Alex Gogic. 71 minutes, St Mirren 1, Queen of the South 0.
Well, that really is a relief temporarily at least, for Stephen Robinson and the St Mirren fans. Now it's all about Big Marv's approach to the remainder of the game. I mean, right now, 72 minutes in, they're out. Why not give it a go? See if we can get extra time.
That's funny. I was talking to him yesterday and he says to me, fancied a goal. Gogic.
Yeah.
I was standing at school waiting for the kids to come out and he says, I fancy a goal against Queen of South today. And what happens?
You've got a kid at that school, haven't you?
My granddaughter.
Oh, right. Yeah. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
See, because I know that is the case, and I've seen him round about there, so I know that that's true. That you met him. Did he actually say fancy the goal?
I just made
exactly
that.
Like,
oh, he was so convincing. I know. I believed you. I believed myself if he hadn't a button.
Have you ever thought about auditioning for Traitors?
Sounded normal.
Do you know something? I actually loved that story. I was believing it all myself there.
Why would you make that up?
I was going to hi-fi him on Monday.
ask him again, Hugh. I'd be keen to hear his
Ever
answer.
thought of auditioning for Traitors?
Well, I'd love to. I would win that hands down, mate.
Yeah.
What would your tactics be? I'm hooked.
I'll tell you, I like the tactics of wee Harry just now.
Don't hold on. Be mindful of the fact we've got a lot of listeners.
Right.
Some might be behind. That's all. Just don't spoil it for anyone.
You've got to watch that you're not too outspoken. Make friends with one or two, not them all, because they start looking at you.
Right.
Be a team player.
Could you do that?
And lie through your teeth. Oh, I can lie through my teeth.
Could you be a team
I've
player?
made a career out of lying through my teeth.
Could you be a team player?
Yeah. If it's for,
you're a bit too selfish
it's
for
for
that.
a 70 large.
I'll be
your friend for 70 large.
A man who's absolutely proud of being a pathological liar.
Okay, I'm not going to change now.
In fact, you know what? See that black hoodie you've got? Go and put the hood up and bow your head for a minute. Just to see how convincing you look.
This is a traitor.
Is that what they do? They dress in the black hood
and then they bow their head over. Look at that. He's got full.
He's going to hit that microphone though. There we are.
You're a traitor.
I like that.
I've never seen it. I need to get
it's great.
Now go and do it again and then give us the reveal. So hood up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I just want to see if this is your audition. I'm going to send
Right,
this off.
Send this to Claudia.
Send this to Claudia Winkleman.
Claudia.
And see if you can. Good at that. You're excellent at that.
You didn't catch that.
I videoed that, so I'll stick it on my Instagram.
No, don't video
story.
that one.
It's on my Instagram story, and you can see what his audition looks like.
I'd win that all day long.
I believe you for what it's worth. No, I'll tell you what's more up your street tonight.
Yep,
The return
I'm
of
on it.
the Gladiators. That's up your street, isn't it?
I'm on it.
Amazing show.
What would your event be? No, two things. What would your name be if you were a gladiator? What do you think would suit you? What would Hugh Keevins be? The pundit. He comes out.
He would be the
in
pole.
leotard.
Look at the size and the weight of him. He'd just be the pole you pick up. Here, Hugh, have me that face, and then. What would that be? Don't know.
I mean, I think Dazzler sort of works.
Yeah.
Patho.
The elephant.
For pathological liar.
Rubbish.
I did his big trunk on him and
his nose.
Aye. His nose, yes.
What would your specialist event be?
I've not seen it this year. I'm watching it tonight.
You're not a runner. I can't see
No,
you. I don't think the
I'm more a
Travelator is your
balance guy with the thing.
or the duel.
The jewel.
No,
the jewel.
You do that
practice
in
that
one,
in the spare
one
bedroom.
swipe.
No, no chance. A wee duck underneath. Boom.
I can't see him on the Travelator. He doesn't run. He's not ran since he retired.
Pay to see that. Him getting up.
Has anybody got this teaser yet?
Hugh, listen, the teaser can wait until I discover what Gordon Dale's talent on the Gladiators.
The rings, you know, the rings look hard there.
I'm strong. I'm a strong boy.
Are you good at the pull-ups and you can do the rings?
I'm good at that.
Oh, yeah, of course he can do. How many pull-ups?
Yeah.
15 pull-ups
By the
easy.
way, I'll tell you what, I've got more sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Speed about me now. I'm not bad. Your mate will verify that. Played with Scott at the badminton yesterday. What a game.
Yeah, now that he's like, he's out and about in the local area, he's been playing my mates at badminton.
That's challenging everybody.
Very weird.
That is weird.
I
can't
isn't it?
imagine you'd run about a badminton court.
No, I'll get other people to run about in my ability.
Hold on. Big news. Forget Gordon Dale's housebreak or the badminton tournament. The biggest news to hit Motherwell in many a year is the Andy Halliday debut. Number 11. Who gave him number 11? Would be my first question, but it's gone up. The board, he's been summoned from in front of the Cooper stand. He's made he's
You'll be giving it the applause.
fixing the hair. On he comes. First touch, nice wee cushioned pass. Just keep it safe.
It?
Cushioned pass off. Crowd goes wild.
Kissing the badge and all that.
He's on for Harry Payton.
He'll be applauding him in 10 minutes when he's gone off and injured again. Who knows that one?
The thing is, though, I'm just confident that I'm going to win the race for the training gear out of myself and Gordon DL, because I must be the closest in size to Andy Halliday.
Yeah, you're not going to fit into it, unfortunately.
Well, he needs to get on the weights then if he wants to get the same
Anyway,
size.
he's on. Another Kilty goal disallowed for offside for St Mirren. They're 1 up against Queen of the South. Motherwell 2-1 up against Alloa. Hibs now 1 up at Forfar. So the only shock as it stands, well, Airdrie are beating St Johnstone still. Yes. And of course Ross County absolutely battered at home by Partick Thistle. Remind us of that teaser, please, Hugh. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
I wear a few different hats as a CFO. Sometimes it's referred to as Chief Fixing Officer. Wherever there's a fire in the business, I'm often there first.
Whatever hat CFOs like Imran need to wear, Sage's tools and insights can make sure they fit. Sage, helping business flow.
Get in pole position for cheaper van insurance. With mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. See what you could save and compare your van insurance today with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Okay, I have played alongside John Sutton and Theo Walcott. I've been managed by Craig Levine and Derek McInnes. I've scored in a European competition, and my only major honour was a Scottish Cup victory. Who am I?
It is a really difficult question. Do Mark Wilson and or Gordon DL have it?
No.
None of them?
No.
Okay, let me have a look.
I'm narrowing it down.
I'll be really... Oh, I know I always say this, but I think what makes this tough is it is an obscure answer. So let's take last week's for instance. I fell into the trap, right? So I tried to make it up for you. I tried to make it difficult to confuse you. But what I did was I started with an obvious name, which was Aidan McGeady, and then tried to give you difficult clues. This is a difficult name. I can tell you, Hugh, someone does have it. I can't, honestly, it's so impressive.
I've got a wee clue, but that Theo Walcott one's killing me.
Let's do some wrong answers.
Right, go.
Gandalf thinks it's Christian Daly.
No.
Chelsea Demon thinks it's Scatchell.
Oh, Rudy.
Mick M92 thinks Chris Iwalumo.
No.
Let's see it, Gordon DL. Your answer, I mean.
I'm going to go.
If you could hold it up.
I'm going to go for a...
Hurry up,
a wild
quickly.
one.
Yes, he's got it. He's done it. I can see it.
I'm going to tell you how you've got that.
How?
Because you could see that. I seen it off Hugh's sheet.
I'll tell you what I'll do, right? You know me, I'll swear.
Don't swear on anyone's life.
I
Just don't
swear
bother.
I didn't see that.
I saw that. I saw that.
To be fair,
and I wasn't going to say anything, and you were looking over this way, and I looked away.
So you know, so I'm going to say I'm never playing this game again.
Every week.
I'm coming out on your side. I am 6 feet away from you.
There's no chance I've seen that, Hugh. Come over here, but
hold that the way you were holding that there, Hugh.
No, I don't think he saw it.
You were holding it like that. I looked over.
I don't think he did, genuinely.
Okay.
Thank you, Gordon.
But anyway, well done. We'll see if we can get the rest of the answers. I've put your Traitors audition on my Instagram story just to see if any big TV execs can...
I'd love to be on there. The castle looks good, eh?
Great, yeah. You've had some poetry in. Been a stressful week for you.
No, it has been.
Curious Creature says, imagine being a robber in the depths of Motherwell. You choose a nice wee target, but the nameplate says the L. You sneak into the hallway, but you just don't understand why you see a man in Y fronts with his remote control in his hand.
I wasn't too far off, to be honest.
Anyway, right, let's get back to the football if we can. The Shugginator.
Oh, there you are.
That'd be good.
Pozog says that's your gladiator name.
I like
I'm
that.
not sure. I am not sure, I must say.
I'm going to get a t-shirt with that on it.
Some of that looked a bit rough, the old gladiators. What about the one you have to
kind of the point, isn't it?
touch the one in the middle? You know, you have to get to the middle and touch the thing. Oh, heavy
looked
hits,
like
that.
a gentle playground game, that.
You joking?
The man that did my cup for getting a 10 out of 10 and beat the pundit, I should ask him for a mug that says the Shugginator.
Shugginator's good, I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, right, get a parcel today. And,
what do you mean, speaking of
the
that?
Shugginator? Right,
Is this going to be related in any way?
So Leanne says, I need to get a package out the boot of my car. It's a present for my sister. So she goes out to the car and gets this package, and it's a frame shape, and she unpackages it, and she's like, what do you think of this? She turns it round. It's a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger with his signature from the Terminator that she bought at an auction when she was in London. And I said, what? Who is that for? Our sister loves Terminator, and she paid.
That is niche.
She has paid a lot of money for this. And it just blew me away how you can go to an auction and pick that out of all the prizes.
I'm on your side on that. Baffling, I must admit, but I'm sure it went to a good cause. No,
but no, it did go to a good. Yeah, the charity money. Yeah, but still crazy.
The Shugginator. I'm not sure it's going to catch on. Let's go back and get the Dumbarton team from Gabriel. He's already given us Rangers. Maybe a reminder of a couple of the talking points in that one, Gabriel.
Yeah, let's start with the Rangers team again, then Gordon. Fabio Silva on the bench, Rangers' only winter signing, not in Philippe Clement's starting 11. He's made 3 changes to the team from their last game, which was against Kilmarnock 18 days ago. Still very strong though, pretty close to full strength. Jack Butland's rested, Kieran Dowell's out for 2 months, and Adil Sima is at the Africa Cup of Nations. So the team is as follows: Robbie McCrory in goal, the defence of James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Suter and Ridvan Yilmaz. John Lundstrom and Nico Raska are in midfield with Todd Campbell ahead of them. Ross McCausland and Rabbi Matondo on the wings. Cyril Desses leads the line. But what about the host, Dumbarton? What a magnificent night this is for them, and an opportunity, a huge opportunity for all of these players playing against one of the top teams in the country. Memories they'll never forget. This is the team that manager Stevie Farrell has chosen. In goal, Harry Brown. The defence of Matthew Shields, Sean Crichton, Finlay Gray and Carlo Pignatello. Tony Wallace, Blair Malcolm and Ryan Blair are in midfield. James Hilton and Calvin Orsi will be up top with Mikey Ruth, who leads the line. Substitutes: O'Neill, Wilson, Linus, Vata, Byrne, Wallace and Gallagher Lennon, Neil Lennon's son. He is among the substitutes here this evening. Of course, the Suns down in League 2. I spoke to manager Stevie Farrell earlier in the week, Gordon. He said his team have got to use everything: the pitch, the weather, the unusual atmosphere. He believes that shocks can happen. He pointed to the Derby result against Aberdeen 12 months ago. He said there's no reason this year they can't be the story. He wants his side to use the spirit and resilience of previous rounds. They were 2-0 down against Highland League side Banks of D in the second round. They scored 3 goals in the final 25 minutes to go through. Against Annan last month, they had a 5-4 comeback victory, so they can do it. And he said resilience will be key today. But Gordon, really looking forward to this one. Another update on the pitch. It is boggy, but certainly playable out here in Dunbarton.
Looking forward to it. They've got the big tunes on. Tonight's going to be a good night according to the PA system. Let's see what it's got in store for Dumbarton and Rangers. So no Fabio Silva from the beginning. The quite predictable cup goalkeeper rotation sees Robbie McCrory get a chance in goals as well. So we'll keep an eye on the build up to that one. A 5:30 kick-off, right?
Yeah.
Struggle to keep up when they're all scattered all over.
Game over by 5:45.
Right. Listen, I don't think he was that far off. I mean,
really?
Yeah, I think this one will be. Yeah, I think Rangers will get a couple of early goals. You know what? I was chanting about Fabio Silva as well with Dessers, but Matondo coming in with Sima being away, and Sima had been Rangers' real goal threat this season. I thought with him being his way as well, that would heighten the chances of Fabio Silva. If you're going to play Dessers coming off a side, but he still finds Matondo and McCausland ahead of him.
How frustrating is that at Rugby Park? Kilmarnock still 2 up, but 3 minutes to get the first 2, and the rest of the day, nothing.
It's just game management, isn't it? You've got the game won, get the cigars out, slippers on. You're impatient, as we know.
Well, Dundee out of the draw tomorrow to be joined by St Johnstone and Ross County.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Well, Blair Spittle couldn't score from 12 yards, but he can from a free kick outside the box. That's one way to make up for it. It's a great strike from the free kick, and surely that's Motherwell home and hosed. Motherwell 3, Alloa 1 with a Blair Spittle goal in the 88th minute.
Big relief all round.
It's the holiday effect, Hugh. That's what it is.
He was there, he held them together, and they're out of need. And big relief for Stuart Kettlewell, because in his position, with the way things are in the league, you just don't need a cup upset to complicate matters further.
Yeah, good result. Obviously, when it went to 1-1, a lot of people, maybe a little bit of unrest at Fir Park. I was confident. They missed the penalty kick. They've got the third. Game over. They'll look forward to the next round now.
Good afternoon for Spittle. Well, mixed afternoon, missed the penalty, but starts it well, finishes it well. Yeah, a good result for Stuart Kettlewell, but he'll need to tighten up that defence somehow. You know, you've had your couple of weeks to work on it, and it's still producing the same frailties. They need something at the back to make them a wee bit harder to score against. Otherwise, they'll find themselves drifting towards the bottom of the table rather than looking up.
Great response to your Traitors edition coming in on Instagram, that has to be said. No, genuinely.
Tag Claudia in that. She'll have you on.
People are enjoying it on Instagram over there, so keep an eye on it. Ayr United are definitely home and hosed 3-0 now against Kelty Hearts. Mark McKenzie with the goal in the 90th minute. Let's round off the teaser, Hugh, whilst we're here.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside John Sutton and Theo Walcott. I have been managed by Craig Levine and Derek McInnes. I have scored in European competition, and my only major honour was a Scottish Cup final victory. Who am I? I am Andrew Driver.
Andrew Driver. I thought that was really, really tough. Well done if you got it right, and as always, lots of you did. William Poole, third fastest. BB in second place, and Sean Davis was the winner. So impressive. Some of the games look like they're heading for extra time, or are they?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Livingston. It's Dan Mackay with the header. It was a curled cross from the left, and there we are, right in the nick of time. That game is a few minutes behind because it's had a series of delays, but nevertheless, what a timely goal that is for Livy. Daniel Mackay, Livingston 2, Wraith Rovers 1. Huge.
There's at least 10 minutes of playing time left in that game. But well done, Davy Martindale and all concerned, because I thought that this was going to be, when they went a goal down, another example of Livy being on a one-way trip downward. But they fought back today, and they need to hang on to that goal now.
4 homes, 4 favourites. Told you at the beginning.
Yeah, you've got it up.
Yeah, got it so far, but Livy's not over the line yet. But look, they're doing it the hard way. It's not been easy games. I didn't expect that, but you've just got to get yourself in the next round of the cup for me.
All over it, Dingwall. Great result for Thistle.
Yeah.
How's that finished so early?
I went down the road to get away for the storm.
Anyway,
I told you, never an easy place to go with the Bonnyrigg.
That could be a late winner. Bonnyrigg rose 2, Falkirk 1, Inverness are fine 4-0 against Broomhill. Wasn't one of our featured games, but I would have been keen to hear Derek Adams' post-match analysis of a 3-0 home defeat to lower league Partick Thistle in the Cup.
And his next game in the Premiership, Celtic Park, next Saturday. So he's second bottom of the league, he's out of the Cup, and he's got Celtic to play in Glasgow next.
Yeah, not going to be
lucky Whiteheader.
Yeah, but credit must go to Partick. That's a terrific result to go up there, especially after what happened last season. Get that result. That is a fantastic result for the Jags.
Yeah,
brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Unbelievable. And look, we chat about finances for lower league teams, for teams like Thistle and Lviv. David Martindale saying his budget is so thin, getting to the next round and the possibility of drawing one of the bigger sides then brings an awful lot of money.
Last season they got Rangers at Ibrox, and that was quite an eventful night in one way or another. So
in hindsight, the beginning of the end for Michael Beale in the eyes of some Rangers fans.
Of course they go
by letting Partick Thistle score.
I've already written in my Sunday paper column that my quote of the year from SuperScoreBoard on Radio Clyde was the man after that game who phoned in to say, because as people remember, Michael Beale ordered the Rangers players to let Partick Thistle walk through and score an equalising goal to make it 2-2, and the first caller on the Monday night said, "I'm not into this integrity stuff." That was my favourite quote of 2023.
That does sum us up in a certain.
And was that the night Ian McCall lost his job, or was it the next day?
No, that night.
What a strange evening that was then,
Yeah.
485 up from Dumfries to Paisley to cheer on Marvin's Army. Decent travelling number, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. St Mirren with that slender 1-goal advantage. Doesn't sound like it's been vintage, but you get through to the next round and all is forgiven unless they can come up with something in the last couple of minutes.
So a quarter of the Premiership go out on one day. That's what happens if you don't turn up on the day. You give them your best, out you go.
Who's all out? Remind me.
Ross County, St Johnstone and Dundee.
St Johnstone, yeah.
Is St Johnstone full time?
Not yet.
All right, still life there.
But I think it must be very close now. Like Morton and Montrose is done. Morton are through. Ayr United are through. It is getting to that stage of the afternoon. It's 10-5, of course. No VAR, which is nice. We can't rumble on too long here. And it means the chance for you to have your say on the phones is here pretty much. So 01419511025. Were you at a game today? What did you make of it? And of course we'll pick our way through the Rangers game when it kicks off as well, and preview Celtic tomorrow. Full time for Park. David Friel.
Full time, Motherwell 3, Alloa 1. A really eventful day for Blair Spittle. Motherwell survived a brief scare to seal their place in the 5th round. Connor Salmon's equaliser after Spittle's early goal. I think that had Alloa dreaming of an upset, but didn't last too long. Georgie Gent made it 2-1. Spittle then crashed in a late free kick, outstanding goal after missing a penalty. As I said, eventful day for him. Stuart Kettlewell, he probably feels relief more than anything. This should have been a lot more goals for Motherwell, barring that period before and after half time. They were actually really good. Lennon Miller back after injury. Andy Halliday on for his debut. A good day all round for Motherwell. They got off to an ideal start, as I said. Blair Spittle scoring inside the second minute. Adam Montgomery, he was absolutely outstanding in his debut, setting a perfect cutback. Spittle took it first time and then went in off the underside of the bar. Motherwell had so many chances to add a second. Spittle and Theo Baird both had shots blocked. Then came that shock. Alloa equalised on 27 minutes. Stephen Skugel led a breakaway, found Connor Salmon at the left angle of the box. The former Motherwell striker went alone, curled a superb finish into the bottom corner. It was Alloa's only shot and goal in the first half, but it definitely unsettled Motherwell for a spell. Quinn Coulson at the start of the second half, he had a header saved by Liam Kerley. Home fans were growing nervous. Stuart Kettlewell sent on Lennon Miller. Maybe it was coincidence, but Motherwell seemed to settle after that. He got on the ball, started making passes, and in 60 minutes Motherwell took the lead. Harry Payton found Georgie Gent at the edge of the box. He took a touch, bust forward into the box and found the corner. Great finish. Spittle then missed a penalty after Gent went down under Scott Taggart's challenge. PJ Morrison, he was outstanding against his old club. Made a terrific save from that penalty, but he was helpless as Spittle's curling free kick found the top corner in 88 minutes. Alloa players are just down in front of me applauding their fans. They take a lot of credit from this, but Motherwell, it was a deserved passage into the next round. Full time, Motherwell 3, Alloa 1.
Full time whistle starting to go then. Motherwell are through, no dramas there. But not the same safe passage for Premiership. St Johnstone, they're out at the expense of Airdrie. Well done to Rhys McCabe for that victory there. And it means that Craig Levine's side crash out of the Scottish Cup. Double Cup winners not so long ago, of course, but the Cup competitions have been nowhere near as kind to them in recent seasons. I'm expecting a full time right about now in Paisley. There it goes, Fraser.
Yeah, full time here. St Mirren 1, Queen of the South 0. Not a classic, a really poor game to watch, but Stephen Robertson just be delighted to be in the next round after a very tame performance by his side. They were comfortable throughout, but they created very few chances. The goal came from the unlikely source of centre back Alex Gogic with a really strong header into the back of the net late in the second half. They were poor in the first half, Saints, only a few half chances to talk about, and when they did get a shot on goal, they found young Harry Stone in top form in the Queen's goal. A younger shot bounced in front of Stone early on, but it bounced awkwardly. He dealt with it really well, get his body behind it. Kilty the ball in the net in 19 minutes. A rebound from a really good Stone save Mayunga shot, but the flag was up for offside when Kiltie tapped it into the empty net. Kiltie then went close on another couple of occasions, but Saints were too slow in the build-up, and Queens deserved to be level at the break. But the pattern of play continued at the start of the second half. Boyd Munster's a shot blocked a yard out by Ambrose as the procession towards the Queen's goal continued. Scott Tanser then came really close, a brilliant 25-yard shot. It struck it really well, and it hit the bar and ballooned over into the crowd. The Saints cranked up the pressure. Stephen Robinson got a bit frustrated, threw on Lewis Jimison for Conor McMenamin to try and find a way to get that opening goal, but Saints fans were quite quiet, I think worried as the game wore on. The only noise they're making was to show their annoyance at their team's mistake. Hale Docherty and Lee Connolly trying their best for Queen of the South to create something on the break, but they were starved of much of the ball and really didn't test Hemming at all as a visual spectator. But the goal came in 71 minutes, a very simple goal. This quite often happens. Greg Kiltie, corner on the left hand side, he swung it in with pace to the near post, and Alex Gogic charged in to powerfully head the ball into the net from 6 yards. Harry Stone absolutely no chance in the goals. Kiltie then had another goal disallowed for offside. He was then denied by Stone on a couple of occasions. One time the young keeper's quickly off his line to block. The Saints couldn't get that second goal to give them that wee bit of comfort. But as the game drew to a close, you didn't feel that Queens were ever going to get that equaliser. So job done. The Saints will have to play much better next week when Rangers visit Paisley in the Premiership. Full time in Paisley, St Mirren 1, Queen of the South 0.
So into the next round go Stephen Robinson's side. What about the all Premiership tie at Rugby Park? Roger Hannah.
Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 0 in the all Premiership tie at Rugby Park. Gordon was effectively over after 2.5 minutes. An incredible start by Kilmarnock. The captain Kelvis Sell opened the scoring after just 18 seconds, poking the ball under Dundee goalkeeper Adam Legsons for 1-0. That became 2-0 in 2.5 minutes. Danny Armstrong's free kick in the right glanced home with a header at the near post by Marley Watkins. Dundee really huffed and puffed to get back in. Luke McCowan actually had the ball in the net after 7 minutes, but an offside flag was up as it was deflected past Kieran O'Hara, who was making his first start in the Kelly goal. Dundee tried hard before the break to get back into the game. O'Hara making a save from Amadou Bakayoko and punching clear from a Joe Shaughnessy throw in and a corner by Luke McCowan. But in the second half, Kilmarnock looked more likely to score a third goal than Dundee looked to get back into the game. Matty Kennedy testing substitute keeper Harrison Sharp from distance. Then there was a shot from Watkins blazing wide after 68 minutes. Watkins then freeing strike partner Vassell. Moments later with Sharp saving smartly with his legs at the near post. Sharp again called into action to push out a header by Kilmarnock substitute Corey and Dabber from the resulting corner, with Derry McInnes' side well on top at this stage. McInnes had promised to attack the competition. His players certainly took him at his word in this one-sided contest. They're into the fifth round draw tomorrow night, and in this form, not too many would fancy coming to Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 0.
So on go Derek McInnes' side, attack the competition, he said. Hugh Keevins told us earlier on that's exactly what they have done. And again, like we were in the first half, the only game we're waiting on is Livy. 2-1 up last time we checked, so it looks like there will be no shocks there. The only one that has to go down is a shock, Hugh, just because of the disparity in division. It's not a massive shock, but Airdrie beating St Johnstone.
Yeah, it's another feather in the cap of this young man, Rhys McCabe, who has done a tremendous job, the youngest manager in the SPFL, I think. And you know, for St Johnstone, they are better off concentrating on the league anyway, I think, because there's a job still to be done there by Craig Levine. It's an unhappy afternoon for the St Johnstone fans, but well done Rhys McCabe. He continues to do a great job at Airdrie.
Again, a slight shock. Bonnyrigg Rose have beaten Falkirk, scoring late. Bonnyrigg Rose 2, Falkirk 1. You can get in touch now on the phones 0141 951 1025. Were you out and about at a game today? If so, tell us what it was like. Motherwell fans, were you worried at any stage, or did you always have confidence? Tell us everything we need to know about that excellent short cameo from Andy Halliday. We need all the ammunition we can get. What did you make of that game? Blair Spittle's part in it, Adam Montgomery's debut. St Mirren fans, it doesn't sound like it was a vintage performance. Does that matter? Is it all about getting through? Killie fans, who's going to stop you? You're flying in a number of competitions, so why not get your thoughts over there? And of course, you Celtic fans, how would you go tomorrow? Would you go strong as you can against Buckie Thistle? It is the first game back. Does that mean all the big hitters play, or would you box clever with a bit of rotation, given that it is fifth tier opposition? Call us right now and let us know. And of course, we will be building up to Dumbarton Rangers as well. So Rangers fans, this would be the last chance for you to have your say before the game. Why not give us your reaction to that team? What do you think up front? Would you have gone Fabio Silva Would you have rather had the chance to see him from the beginning, or do you understand leaving him out? 0141951 1025. Fairly straightforward day and weekend so far, you have to say.
Well, not straightforward for the quarter of the Premier Division who are not going to be in the draw tomorrow night, but credit to those who defeated Dundee and Ross County and St Johnstone. With regard to Celtic and Rangers will take care of Dumbarton. They've picked a very strong side. The conditions will be horrendous, but if they have to beat Storm Isha, the pitch at Dumbarton and Stevie Farrell's side, then that's the way it is. Celtic tomorrow. Celtic have the equivalent of a bye into the next round. A part-time team from the Highland League who have been unable to train all week because of snow. Brendan Rodgers should be picking a side that pays its respects to the tournament, bearing in mind that they are also the current holders of the Scottish Cup, and they owe every fan who, it's not a season ticket game, they owe every fan who has been good enough to buy a ticket and come out in this bad weather a performance and a result.
Now, what do you think, Celtic fans? Would you go strong tomorrow or give players a chance? 0141951 1025. Partick Thistle fans, I'd love to hear from you. Surely one of the results of the weekend, and it's finished in Livingston. Dave Galloway.
Yeah, Livingston 2, Wraith Rovers 1. Quite a cup tie to behold here at the Tony Macaroni Stadium. What a start by Wraith, who took a 5th-minute lead. Aidan Connolly with the ball over the top, and Jack Hamilton's shot went through Shamal George's legs. Livingston came into things, however. Scott Pittman lashed one over the bar. Andrew Shinnie had a shot charged down, and they won a penalty when Shinnie was brought down by Callum Smith. But Shinnie's spot kick hit the post, then Kevin Dabrowski, and somehow stayed out. The hosts kept at it though and equalised deservedly after 33 minutes. Jamie Brandon, brilliant strike, blasting into the net from a tight angle after a long ball by Daniel Mackay. There was little to choose between these sides at the interval, and Wraith started the second half well. Aidan Connolly raced clean through but shot well over the bar. Real lack of composure there. At the other end, Daniel Mackay and Bruce Anderson combined very nicely indeed to set up Stephen Kelly, and his rasping drive stung Kevin Dabrowski's hands. Rovers' Liam Dick smashed in a long distance drive. The ball was really swerving about, but Shamal George did rather well to touch it over. Both teams having a right go, but extra time looked very much on the cards. However, after 82 minutes, Daniel Mackay headed in Stephen Kelly's cross from close range to put Livy ahead. So Davy Martindale's men managed to close this one out to make it through to the next round of the Scottish Cup and get their first win in 14 matches. It finished Livingston 2, Wraith Rovers 1.
Come on then, what have you got for us? 0141951 1025. Reaction to today's games, preview of tonight's game, or looking ahead to tomorrow between Celtic and Buckie Thistle. It is up to you. Give us a call right now and we'll try and get you on next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
What a day it's been in the Scottish Cup. Plenty happening. If you take us through the weekend, we go from Aberdeen progressing last night. Hearts didn't have it all their own way, but they got through at lunchtime. I'll give you a full roundup of these scores. We've still got Dumbarton Rangers to come, and then of course Celtic Buckie tomorrow. But the phone lines are open, so give us a call. You want to talk about today's football, last night's football, tomorrow's football, the transfer window, you decide. Get your calls in right now please. Whilst I paint this picture, full time Spartans 1, Hearts 2, Airdrie 1, St Johnstone 0, Ayr United 3, Kelty Hearts 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 2, Falkirk 1, Forfar Athletic 0, Hibs 1, Inverness 4, Broomhill 0, Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 0, Livingston 2, Wraith Rovers 1, Morton 2, Montrose 0, Motherwell 3, Alloa 1, Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 3, and St Mirren 1, Queen of the South 0. Simon is a Kilmarnock fan. Very comfortable after that start, surely, Simon?
Yeah, guys, how you doing? Hope you all enjoyed the afternoon. Yeah, I don't. All my years supporting Kelly, I think it's the first time I've ever seen us score 2 goals in the first 2 minutes. It was a crazy start. The game kind of felt a bit like you'll go to see your favourite band and they played your 2 favourite songs right at the start, and then the rest is just B-sides. It was a really comfortable afternoon. we didn't really have to do anything. We just kind of sat in and defended. Dundee had a few chances in the first half, none that were crystal clear. We just defended so well, as we always do under Derek McInnes, especially this season. And second half was, the two best chances fell to us. Vassell clean through, should have done better. Watkins just put his by the post as well. Dundee offered nothing, especially after we brought Corey and Dab on and solidified the back line a wee bit. So yeah, I think it was the toughest tie of the round. I think it was the closest tie of the round. And yeah, just delighted to get through and looking forward to the draw.
You got real high hopes for the Cup this season, Simon. Derek McInnes mentioned coming close, getting to a semi-final, and previously he personally has a good record, certainly getting to the latter stages, if not getting over the line and winning them. And also you've been so good in the league this season and beating Glasgow's big two. Has this all of a sudden become a real priority, if that's the right word?
I don't know if it's a priority. Cup's always just a bonus, but yeah, this year I think we've got a real chance of going very, very far. And do you know what I mean? Nobody will want to play us. So whether it's away, we've beaten Celtic twice, we've beaten Rangers. We were pretty unlucky at Celtic Park. We played okay that day. We've been up to Pittodrie and won. We beat Aberdeen at home as well. I don't think we'll fear anyone. I don't think anyone wants to get us out the hat tomorrow either. And yeah, there's absolutely no reason with the performances we've had, with how good defensively. Greg Stewart coming in today. I know he only got a few minutes, but you saw those touches, what he can offer. And yeah, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be a really interesting end to the season, especially if Shanklin leaves Hearts. A push for third is definitely on, and it's just night and day from last season. We were putting building blocks in place for this season, and it's just so good to see everything come to fruition. You can see Derek McInnes' plan come into action, and it's so good to see.
It's a statement that gets thrown around, and I think on this occasion it would be bang on, wouldn't it? Who's going to want to draw Kilmarnock in the next round?
Well, if you want to win the Scottish Cup, whether you're Kilmarnock or anybody else, you're going to have to beat Celtic and or Rangers to get it. And as Simon rightly points out, Kilmarnock have a very tidy record in that regard this season. Particularly if Kilmarnock were drawn tomorrow night at home, even against Celtic or Rangers, they would feel good about themselves, and obviously anybody else, they will also feel good about themselves. So what they did today, and I liked Simon's analogy, I'll need to write that down and steal it one day, about the band playing the two biggest songs.
Like if you went to see whoever, Van Morrison, and played the two hits, and then the rest, it was just comfortable.
If he did Moondance and then whatever, it'd be great. But so Simon's entitled to his confidence, and I go back to it, and it's the last time I'll say it on the programme. His manager had the quote of the day, because it's so well described how you've got to approach these things. Attack the competition. 3 words, 2 goals, next round.
They're in good form, you've got to say. I do agree with Simon. I do agree with Hugh that if you're sitting there tomorrow night and you see Kilmarnock coming out first, you're probably thinking, I'd like to avoid that. They're flying high just now, especially at home. I watched them that day against Celtic. I thought second half they were excellent. Derek tweaked 1 or 2 things tactically and caused Celtic all sorts of problems. I think he's right. I think he's got a good squad there, good balance and experience, guys that can get you goals, guys that can defend when you have to, defend when your back's to the wall. So I think the Rugby Park fans are really enjoying their football just now, and they're a real threat.
Simon, when you look at Greg Stewart being added as well, I think he came on late today, and maybe the transfer business isn't done yet. Do you feel like there's more to come from this team after the break, even though the bar has been set pretty high prior to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't fear any team in the league. Obviously I had a bit of tete-a-tete with Hugh at the start of the season when I was saying that I thought Rangers signings were dreadful and he thought they were really good, and we went and won in the first game of the season and we beat Celtic, knocked them out the cup, and then we're building a strong team. Defensively we're just excellent. You don't expect us to concede goals, even today with the second choice goalkeeper coming in. We still looked solid. I think we probably need an extra body in midfield with Kyle McGuinness having an operation. That's going to be a big loss. And obviously Brad Lyons has been sensational this season. He's out for a couple of months as well. So I think we probably need another body in midfield. I think the boy Scott Fraser, that was at Dundee United, has been talked to. You're possibly one, along with yourself, Gordon, and Motherwell. I think that'd be a good addition. I think that's probably it. I think Greg Stewart's signed to play kind of as a second striker or off the striker. So, that's probably all we need there. We've got Gary Mackay-Steven on a long-term deal as well. So we've managed to bring Danny Armstrong off after 60 minutes. In last season, we wouldn't have been able to do that. We simply wouldn't have, because we were so reliant on him. This year, he had a bit of a quieter afternoon. We were able to bring him off and still see the game out, which just shows the strength and depth. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to the draw. I want Ayr United away, obviously. You always do. You want Ayr. But to be honest, I would take Rangers at home. I think they're definitely beatable if they get through Dumbarton today. I would actually take that. I think we were talking about it today, knock them out early. Although when Hugh said we need to beat one or both of them, when we won the Cup in 97, we did it without beating either of them. So, it can't be done.
Simon, you want Ayr United away?
Absolutely, yeah. We won twice there in the Championship season. Ayr are absolutely rotten at the moment. So, go down there, a big Kelly crowd going down there.
I might just turn up for one game and keep my record going against you.
Aye, please don't do that.
Gordon Dale thinks something that happened in the 90s is relevant to this fixture, but it does mark, I said it at the start of the show, everything today is obviously the Cup's by far the priority today, but against the backdrop of the transfer window, Derek McInnes has really not got much wrong in terms of recruitment. We obsess over Celtic and Rangers, and you come up with like a percentage of, I don't know, is a 60% success rate good for signings? What does it need to be? Derek McInnes has got most of them bang on so far, so it'll be interesting to see how Greg Stewart does and what else they can add. I mean when rumours are there was an interest in Andy Halliday, who came to his senses and headed elsewhere, but maybe the opposite will happen with Scott Fraser, isn't it?
Scott Fraser. Yeah, when you look at Derek and his managerial career, it's something that he consistently gets right. I mean, the only downside was probably his time at Bristol City, and that was part of that. Yeah, and a few others that didn't work out. But at Aberdeen, the way he amassed the squad and filled the positions in a certain way, it's kind of taking on the same form at Kilmarnock. Experienced guys, pacing the wide areas, a bit of physicality up front with guys who know where the goal is, and players who know the league. Now, you look what Simon just said there, the guys that came off the bench, the guys that have been withdrawn and then replaced with, it's replacing quality for quality, and they're going great in the league. A cup run going into the latter stages is never off the card, because Derek knows the tournament all too well. He knows how to get to Hampden. It's just getting to that next stage, getting to the final and actually winning silverware. But I think I heard you last night saying kept coming up against Brendan Rodgers Celtic, which was incredibly difficult. It might just be his year this year.
Yeah, still a long way to go, of course. Thank you very much to Simon on the line on 01419511025, and that's exactly what's on offer. If you've just been at a game and you want to talk about it, this is the place to do so. I know lots of you Partick Thistle fans will be up north, and you may be tuning in thanks to the wonders of modern technology, or if you kept an eye on the score down here and you want to share your thoughts, please do. That's surely result of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, without doubt. And I looked at the scenes when Thistle lost there to Ross County and did not get promotion as a consequence. I mean, people crying and all sorts going on. And now today, it doesn't compensate for not getting up to the Premiership, but it goes a long way. It makes that long journey back home really enjoyable. And the bottom line is they've gone up there, they've played their football, and they've played a Premiership team off the park. Bottom line.
Come on then, Motherwell fans, what about you as well? How was Andy Halliday's debut? Give us everything you noticed, no matter how big or small the detail. What did you make of it? And on a more serious note, how important was the win today? Blair Spittle's free kick certainly was an absolute cracker. Someone videoed it from the stands and sent it to Gordon DL just so that he was right on top of all the latest happenings, and you liked it. You liked what you saw, didn't you?
Oh, beautiful technique, everything about it. Goalkeeper, absolutely no chance. Great day for him. I know that the downside was a missed penalty, but to score 2 goals and to score a free kick with the quality at the end there, terrific. And Motherwell into the draw.
Absolutely. So if you want to get your thoughts on that game, please do that as well. I asked you, Celtic fans, what would you do tomorrow? Strongest team possible or mindful of the fact that it's fifth tier opposition and give some fringe players a chance? You already know you won't see Nicholas Kuhn, Mark. It's just going to be a week delay. It's not the end of the world. Lost a bit of weight, had some teeth out and all the rest of it, and not quite back at it yet. So he'll play next week, or he'll be available next week. But other than that,
I've got a feeling Brendan Rodgers might go for his strongest team possible, and use the old, it's out of respect. And I think that's the right way of doing it, actually, for Bucky Thistle. It's such a big occasion for get the job done, get the players that you're going to rely on next week to get back up to speed, and back into the swing of things. But look, it's one of these frustrating things. I'm sure the Celtic fans who purchased tickets for the game previous to the news would have been expecting to see him, but they'll just have to put that off for another week.
I think they'll play a very strong side, Mark, because they'll be looking to get some fitness back in. Not fitness, but a bit of sharpness. They've had a couple of weeks holiday, so it's all about now preparing for next week. And if you can use this game, especially at Celtic Park, for an hour, get a bit of sharpness, fitness, a bit of game time, then I think Brendan Rodgers will put out a very strong squad.
I go back to the point. I think he's obliged to play his strongest team, and they are obliged to give their best.
Is anybody ever? I mean, it's still a strong team, but just as an example, when Robbie McCrory's in goals for Rangers tonight instead of Jack Butland, it's not the end of the world when people do that.
No, it's not the end of the world, but the Barton are at least an SPFL side. Celtic are playing a part-time team from the Highlands, 4 o'clock kick-off on a Sunday afternoon in horrendous weather.
There's not loads between Dumbarton and Bucky.
Well,
one tier, and they'll be part-time.
Well, I think Rangers had a couple of pre-season friendlies. Celtic have been quiet, and they've had a high volume.
Rather than
I think it's more, let's use this game as a sort of pre-season friendly that we didn't take up within the break, and get players that wee bit of fitness that they might need.
Well, you can give us a call. Let us know what you think there on 01419511025. The squad's not as impacted by the Asian Cup as we thought, Mark, because Kyogo didn't get the nod. So Maeda and Hatate
came off the bench.
Tilio, they're the ones that are away.
Yeah, well, obviously Maeda's a miss, but some would argue that he wasn't bang up to speed after coming back from his injury. Hatate, great to see him back, but he hadn't played a part in the starting lineup for a long time, so a lot was been left at Celtic is the ones that have been starting. And I'm pretty sure if you're at Celtic just now and you've had a couple of weeks break, you've been on the training pitch, you'll be itching to be back into competitive action, so you'll be desperate to play. There'll be none of this, we'll take this as a rest week and get our feet up because the next week those players will want to play, and Brendan Rodgers will be aware of that.
Yeah, let's hear a bit from Brendan Rodgers then, going into that one. If you want to get your calls in, please do. Of course, we're going back to Dumbarton in just a minute or two.
It's what the Cups are all about. It's a great story. They've got to come down a long way, deserve to be there, and we've prepared like we would for any game. We've looked at some of the games and seen how they got through, and for us we have to do a professional job at home, but hopefully it'll be a great occasion for them and for their supporters to come to Celtic Park. I've always focused on that. There's never any game that's bigger than the others. That this is a game that we're expected to win, but you have to perform on the field. So, but I also recognise as well the joy and the journey that Bucky Thistle have had to get to Celtic Park. It's an incredible story. So, but yeah, hopefully, as I said, they come and have a good experience, but clearly not too good.
Well, let's get real. If Celtic don't win by 5, 6 or 7, then they've had a poor afternoon.
I like that. It could be a 4-0 cruise, but is there a cut-off? Does it have to be 5?
I start at 5.
I don't think these games ever take on that format, really. I think Brendan Rodgers will be using this exercise to get fitness into players and just get them back up to speed. I don't think there's any question they'll win. I don't think Bucky will pose any threat to it.
So if you have a team at Celtic Park who pose no threat at all, you're objecting to me saying you have to start at 5.
I know where you're coming from. I sort of agree with you.
It's the notion that 4 is unacceptable and 5 is, as if it makes any difference. That's what I mean.
No, 4 wouldn't be unacceptable for me, but I agree with you in the sense that I'm expecting 5, 6 tomorrow.
And again, I think that's a different
But I don't think it'll be a poor afternoon if they don't get that. You know what I mean? There's different ways a game could pan out. Brendan Rodgers could be asking them to do something specific within the game that he goes away and thinks, yeah, that was different, a different set piece we've been working on, a different way of playing, a different style. Doesn't it need to be 7-0 to have a terrific afternoon?
It looks wintry in Dumbarton, and kick-off is fast approaching. We'll go back there next.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Daziel are in the warmth of the studio, reflecting on the 3 o'clock games in the Scottish Cup, previewing the game between Celtic and Buckie Thistle tomorrow. It looks a bit wintry at Dumbarton. Gabriel, are these conditions going to play a part tonight?
Yeah, they certainly are, Gordon. The game was in doubt throughout the week, as we all know, due to the frozen pitch. It was put to bed after the inspection this afternoon, approved the surface. It may be boggy, it may be far from ideal, but it is certainly playable. You said it looks wintry, the wind is swirling, the rain is starting to fall quite heavily here, with only one stand blocking out the elements. But Philippe Clement said it will be no excuse for his side. They've already wrapped up the League Cup this season. Rangers have a real chance to make this a very special campaign. They're chasing Celtic in the league, they're through to the last 16 in the Europa League as well. The Scottish Cup starts now. Clement makes 3 changes to the team from their last game at the start of the month, but it is still very strong indeed. Jack Butland is rested, Kieran Dowell is out for 2 months with injury, and Abdullah Sima is off at the Africa Cup of Nations. Robbie McCrory, Nico Raskin and Rabbi Matondo come in. So the team is as follows. It's Robbie McCrory in goal, a defence of captain James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Suter and Ridvan Yilmaz. The midfield is John Lundstrom and Nico Raskin, with Todd Campbell just in front of them. Ross McCausland and Rabbi Matondo are out wide, with Cyril Dessers up top, which means the only January signing, Fabio Silva, is amongst the substitutes. He's on the bench along with Butland, Jack, Lawrence, Wright, Balogun, Barisic, Devine and Rice. But enough about Rangers, we know all about them. What about Dumbarton, the hosts? Here is the 11 chosen by manager Stevie Farrell. It's Harry Brown in goal, defence of Matthew Shields, Sean Crichton, Finlay Gray and Carlo Pignatiello. Tony Wallace, Blair Malcolm and Ryan Blair in midfield. James Hilton and Calvin Orsi will support Mikey Ruth, who starts through the middle. Substitutes: O'Neill, Wilson, Lanus, Vata, Byrne, Wallace and Lennon. As I said, Gordon, I spoke to the Suns boss earlier in the week, and he said they've got to use everything. The pitch, the weather, the unusual atmosphere to their advantage. They've certainly had it fall that way with all the images you'll be able to see on your TV screen right now. Farrell is adamant that shocks can happen, and why not Dumbarton? Could this be one of the most famous nights in this old club's recent history? Of course, they won the Scottish Cup, as Hugh was telling us, in 1883, and this is what the Cup is all about, Gordon. Rangers down here to face Dumbarton and the Scottish winter. Referee Alan Muir is walking out onto the surface now with the ball in his hands, and out comes captain Sean Crichton of Dumbarton leading his team. James Tavernier on the other side, Gordon. I'm here in this stand surrounded by Rangers fans. There's some pyrotechnics going off to the left of me. Red pyrotechnics with fans outside of the stadium. Obviously couldn't get a ticket. That makes some sight here, set against the dark night down in Dumbarton. We're just 2 minutes away from kick-off, Gordon. Can't wait for this one.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It does not look like a night for the purist. It's just something else that'll have to be handled on the evening, Hugh.
Yeah, of course. But I think Philippe Clement has laid his cards on the table. He's picked a very strong side. The pitch looks as if it will cut up very badly, but it doesn't matter. It really, it's Scotland. It's January, there's a storm coming in. Rangers have to beat the elements and Dumbarton. That's the job for them tonight, and I would imagine they'll do so quite comfortably.
It's a proper welcome to Scottish football evening. I mean, he's been here for a while, but Philippe Clement, you could see him coming out the tunnel, because of course at Dumbarton the dugout's on the other side. You need to walk right across the pitch. It looks soggy, Gordon. It looks windy, it looks rainy.
He looked comfortable. He knows what it's all about. This is a case of just turning up, getting his team to be professional. I'm sure they will be. They've got the big guns out tonight. They've got enough there to go and win this game comfortably, whether the pitch will cut up or not, or the wind, or the conditions of the rain. They've got to handle it. That's why they're playing with Rangers, and I expect Rangers to win this comfortably tonight.
Daz is right. I mean, it's one of these games that when you sign for a club like Rangers, you know it's going to come along at one stage, and you need to roll up your sleeves and just get on with it. Tonight, that is the occasion for guys like Raskin and Fabio Silva, who's on the bench. He'll be looking at his surroundings thinking, never really played in this environment before. But you have to go out there, be as professional as possible, deal with the elements, and let your quality shine through in the end. And Rangers will do that.
If they don't win by 4, it's a poor night. I'm taking a goal off them because the Barton are an SPFL side.
What about the away tax? So that's entirely different from. I think you need to take that into account. Surely
4's the minimum.
Look at the pitch already. It's going to cut up. Going to be. What is it you say, Hugh, a night for boiler suits and not dinner suits?
Yeah, no dinner suits. Get the dungarees on, and that's it.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Nicholas Raskin gets us underway. Don't forget, it's like it's the people that schedule these things. It's like they just don't think about us. The game's just started, but the open line is here. It's 01419511025. So give us a call. Let us know whether you're looking ahead to tomorrow, you want to talk through this game, looking back on today's football, whatever it may be. Get in touch. 20 seconds in, I can tell you this is going to be scrappy as can be. Gordon Dale.
Yeah, the conditions aren't too clever, Gordon.
What about McCrory there? The ball right across his 6-yard box. That took a wee bobble just before he kicked it. You don't want too many of those. Pass back to you.
I don't think it'll be a game for slick football, let me tell you that. It'll be a game of getting it up to the front line, go and support it, get it to the wide areas. I think that's why Rangers, Matondo's in one wing, McCausland's in the other. They'll try and use the width of this patch, try and get in behind them, Barton, and it's all important, the early goal into it. If they can get that, then everything just settles itself.
It's nothing like that summer's day back in 2015 when a almost retired Mark Wilson lashed one in for Dumbarton against Rangers.
What a day it was. It was.
I mean, you lost 3-1 in the end, but still.
But nobody was caring about what happened after my goal. It was a fantastic strike goal. I was playing left back that day. Found myself in the penalty area on the angle. What a goal!
What was your score at the time?
It was only 2 minutes in.
It was only 2 minutes in. So I was as professional as possible. Rangers were unprofessional, like you would say.
What way were you
going?
Down the way
Dumbarton shooting just now. Yeah,
to the water.
Yeah, down the water side. That's what we used to call it.
So,
but then you get beat 3-1.
But I took my foot off the gas.
Did you? They subbed you after 2 minutes.
Yeah. I was happy with my day's work. I didn't even celebrate, by the way. You know that? Because I knew what was coming. I just sort of jogged away, and I thought, it's a bit early to celebrate.
Angered them.
Yeah, and they did. Rangers had other loan players at that time from Newcastle and all sorts.
You see that as if that was a good thing for Rangers at that time.
No, I think who was the boy that played up front?
Vukic. He scored that day. You're right when you played. But Ryan Hardy,
he was good, by the way.
He scored. The manager in?
I don't know.
Ryan Hardy got a double. He's doing well in the Championship with Plymouth now, isn't he? I know Shea Adams scored in that division today as well, if anyone cares. But 2.5 in, the rain is swirling round at Dumbarton. It's right on the camera lens for anyone that's watching it on TV, much like the game in Hamilton last night. And it's not going to be a beautiful spectator sport, but Rangers are going to try and get the job done. Yilmaz coming forward and trying to make something happen. The cross hangs in the air for about 3 minutes because of the wind.
It is always when you can tell how bad the weather is, when the cameras are blurred from the raindrops. And of course when it cuts to a different camera, the cameraman will be wiping it but it's back instantly, and you can quite clearly see that just now.
If you're watching last night's game, you're quite grateful for it, really.
Yeah, not a great spectacle. I missed that.
Restricted view on the telly. Probably didn't expect it to fall to him. There was a cross and Dumbarton player sort of misjudged it, and then Cantwell found himself in all sorts of space, but it was a bit close to his body, a kind of left-footed volley, if you like. In fact,
I think he goes with the wrong foot there.
I think the defender, I think it takes a nick.
Does it?
Yeah, so that's it fires it into his path and it goes well wide.
Yeah, but a good opportunity, good start from Rangers, getting in behind, getting balls in the box. I think they're trying to play early balls in the box, because I don't think you can run and dribble on this pitch, so it'll be interesting to see the tactics.
Let's look at some of the managerial comments coming out of today. Will we start with the game? Let's go Stuart Kettlewell. It got a bit nervy for a bit, I suppose. 3-1 Motherwell in the end. And Andy Halliday debut. What did he make of it?
A lot of people want to create an upset, and the biggest thing for us today was it wasn't here. This wasn't one of the talking points today. Trying to get through our job properly. I wasn't happy with a lot of aspects of the game, if I'm being honest. I think we have to sharpen a lot of our senses in how we play, both in possession and out of possession. But sometimes there can be a wee bit of an understanding that we've had a period of time off and we've been away from the pitch. But from my side of things, quite clearly that needs to improve in the coming days. And the players are honest enough to acknowledge that. But the flip side is the 3 goals we score are of real quality. Possibly could have been a hat-trick for Blair Spittle. So all in all, a couple of debuts in there. Certainly young Dylan Wells coming on the pitch at 17-year-old. Lennon Miller on the pitch at 17-year-old. I think that all that side of it's positive. And as I say, we see what comes in the next day or so when the draw is made.
Job well done in the end, is that it?
I think he expressed himself correctly at the very beginning where he said, don't give people the opportunity, I'm paraphrasing here, but don't give newspapers or radio or TV the opportunity to lump Motherwell in with a cup shock, a crisis, this, that, the other. Just get it done, get up the road, and that is what they did today. They're in the draw tomorrow night, that's all.
What I think he'll be pleased with, most importantly, is they've been in at 1-1, and there've been some, grumbles from the Motherwell supporters. No doubt in that. But he's went in, he spoke to them, and he's got a reaction. As Dessers really should have put Rangers in front. Still an opportunity here.
Yeah, he's got to score that there.
Yeah.
Dessers. It's a good ball, but a poor defender from DeBarton, just wide open. He takes a decent first touch, but those are the chances that he continually misses.
Yeah, in other words, he keeps proving he's not a natural finisher.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought he was going to open the scoring there. He made good space for himself, Hugh. He's got a glaring opportunity. If you're a top striker, you're putting that way, no doubt about it.
Cantwell then had the chance on the follow-up, but he was snuffed out. It's very, very scrappy, if you like, because of the conditions, but that was the chance. And remember, no VAR. He probably was offside, Cyril Dessers, but no VAR in this game or any other apart from Bucky Thistle's trip to Celtic Park tomorrow. So keep your calls coming in 01419511025. Let's hear from Marvin Bartley as well, shall we? Defeat against St Mirren.
Throughout the week and today, I just said to them, as long as you go out there and give absolutely everything come 5 o'clock, regardless of the result, I'll give you a pat on the back. But it was about giving 10 out of 10 for effort. Not everyone's going to perform 10 out of 10, but in terms of effort across the board, that's what was expected, and that's what I got from my players today. Before the game, it was going to be kind of chance to be few and far between. In terms of what we face on a weekly basis in the league, what we're going to find today is if you pass up an opportunity, they'll probably take it. And if you get an opportunity, you need to take it, because it's going to be hard to come by.
Well, we're reasonably pleased.
Enough to bring him in for a shift midweek.
Yeah, he'll be in.
He'll be in to explain the tactical glory that was the first 45 minutes when it was 0-0.
He's spot on though. If you're going there as a side, a division or a couple of divisions down there, all you expect is maximum effort.
Bit of a sitter for Rangers. Rabbi Matondo, it squared across to him. Goalkeeper was scrambling. He's only 10 yards out or so, maybe even less, and he scoops it over the bar. So that's not an ideal finish for him. 12 yards out, in fact, and just leans back. Gordon.
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed with that. Great opportunity. All it has to do is guide it, because the goalkeeper's out the road on the other side of the goals. All it has to do is guide it to the left, and he's putting Rangers in front. He'll be disappointed with that.
No goals yet. We'll keep you up to date and take more of your calls next.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
It is still Dumbarton 0, Rangers 0 with 11 minutes on the clock. Rangers have had a couple of chances in very difficult conditions, but still goalless. The phone lines are open. Laurie is a Celtic fan on the line. How's it going, Laurie?
Gordon, thank you very much for taking my call this evening. I'm delighted to be back on the show.
Pleasure. What are you thinking? Is it transfer related? Is it tomorrow's game?
Yes, Gordon. I would have to say I appreciate that there are still maybe 10 days or so to go left in the window, but thus far I would have to put it to you that Celtic's transfer business has been underwhelming, to say the least. But signed a guy, Nicholas Kuhn, he seems to have been, bouncing around, kicking around for a few different clubs without making much success anywhere he's went. Now, I'm kind of baffled, Gordon, as to why we should be signing another winger. It seems to me that there are more wingers at Celtic Park than there are Penguins in the Falklands. I don't get that. I mean, you've got a trio of perfectly competent wingers, Palmer, Maeda, and young South Korean guy, Yang. I'm hoping that in the last week or so, maybe we'll get another striker who can back up the Furuhashi, Kyogo, and perhaps a left back to compete with Greg Taylor, because it would appear to me that Bernabe's days are numbered. I think it's highly unlikely we'll see him wearing the hoops again. The panel's thoughts?
I mean, Hugh was up speaking to Brendan Rodgers yesterday, and what's abundantly clear, because Laurie's bang on, you can't argue with the numbers. I think eight wingers. Yeah. Brendan Rodgers clearly thinks he's better than most of them, and that's it. You know, Brendan Rodgers said about he wanted to get quality in and wasn't just going to fill, areas. Whether Nicholas Kuhn turns out to be better than most of them or not is an entirely different matter. But that's clearly the intention. He's not being brought in to be the 6th or 7th choice winger.
No, I think Laurie's choice of word was accurate. Underwhelming as a signing. I think transfer business conducted since Brendan got back for his second spell as Celtic manager has been bewildering. Too many of them have already been found to be unsatisfactory, and the position of winger was not even on the radar for the Celtic supporters when they were assessing their thoughts on what should happen in the January transfer window. Laurie's quite right to point out that they still have time to get other business done, but they need backup for Kyogo. They need, for me, backup for Joe Hart. They were looking for 4 players, according to Brendan Rodgers, and to have one who has Bayern and Ajax on his CV but never actually played for either is, for me, a low-key contribution to what was supposed to be a high-profile transfer window.
I think I know what you're saying, Hugh. I think that's a little bit unfair. I think you've got to give the lad, I know you're talking about Bayern Munich, Ajax or whatever. I don't care about that. Brendan Rodgers and as many wingers as he's got, he's recognised this guy is better than what I've got. I don't care how many I've got in the position and bring them in. He's going to add. I'm not going to say that he's got to be a fantastic success, but we've got to give them the opportunity. The boy's not even kicked the ball for Celtic yet. I do agree with you in the fact that I think they need a centre forward and a backup to Greg Taylor, and I think the Celtic will address that.
So it's just to add another number, Mark, something I noticed yesterday, that we've been counting all those wingers up, and what was it? Was it 8 in the end?
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
Before or after the signing?
No, he makes it 8.
And then Haksabanovic out on loan. When I was up working at Lennoxtown yesterday, Rocco Vata was very much involved in training.
Oh, really?
I noticed,
okay.
and I see that Sky were reporting last night that Celtic are now planning new contract talks with him, and it looked like he would go. So I don't know if you had him into the mix, but anyway, is Laurie of a like mind to you in the sense that you think left back needs addressed? Anything else?
Oh, listen, there was priority positions, I think, before winger. I think everybody can agree in that. But look, I have to agree with Daz in this one. If Brendan Rodgers identified this guy as better than what he's got, then of course bring him in, because who knows what kind of career he can then forge at Celtic. Yeah, Laurie's right, underwhelming, and I'd be reluctant to blame Brendan Rodgers in the summer for all the transfer activity. However, this transfer window is on him. He did make it clear that he wanted to bring in quality to the squad now, and he has only signed 1 player thus far. So I think Celtic supporters would have expected 1 or 2 more in, and I think he's even quoted in today's paper saying that a left back for backup to Greg Taylor is on his radar as well. It's just a length of time. I think with the Brendan Rodgers regime first time around, with Peter Lawwell that time around, and how things worked, everything seemed to take an eternity to get through the door at Parkhead. Under Ange Postecoglou, everything was swift. Now Brendan Rodgers back seems to take a long time again.
You go full strength team tomorrow, Laurie, to get back into the swing of things, or how do you approach it?
I know. I think, to be honest with you, they'll probably be a near full strength side. I think they owe that to the fans. The 5,000 are travelling from Bucky. They're not wanting to see their team playing against a makeshift Celtic side. And season ticket holders like myself and the home cup ticket scheme, I hope we'll have a fairly strong outfit. I mean, obviously, I think Celtic will win in a canter. But I don't want to be disrespectful to Bucky, and I sincerely hope those guys that have made that long journey have a day to remember tomorrow. Hopefully, no at Celtic's expense, but I hope they'll have a day to remember enjoying all the surroundings and what have you on Cup Day.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect your goodwill to extend that far. That's understandable. Thank you very much to Laurie on the line. Still time for you to call. 17 and a half gone. Dumbarton 0, Rangers 0. If this game was supposed to be a chance to give Cyril Dessers goal scoring opportunities and boost his confidence by taking them, Gordon DL, he's not read the memo yet. He's missed a couple.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say positive is he's getting in the good positions. I do fancy him to score, Gordon. Well, maybe
Really?
not.
Really?
Hold on a minute.
You're saying.
We're quite near Dumbarton. I think we're in trouble here. We might get a ball hitting us. Look, Rangers have created all the chances here. Good work with Matondo down the left hand side. Just sets up Dessers on that left foot, and he absolutely skies it right out the stadium.
Does it bobble? I don't like.
Yeah, the pitch is diff.
I'm not
giving
sure
him
that one bobbles.
I actually don't know if it does.
There was
Come
one
on.
just before. He was flagged offside anyway, but he was through and he was 18 yards out, and that one did bobble, and he put in the same direction out the stadium again. That one I don't think you could say bobbled, and he was clearly onside with that. It's not been a great opening 18 minutes
I
for
think
Dessers.
the pitch has played a part in a couple of them for him. I'm giving him a bit of
And ability.
slack here. I think you're being unfair, Mark.
I kind of lean towards Mark because the pitch is terrible, but just when you look closely, I just didn't see that big a bobble.
Big bobble.
I really don't think so.
I'm sticking up for the centre forwards.
Good players can score on bad pitches.
Nah, it can happen, but I don't think this was. I genuinely don't think this was one of them. But
As I say, with every chance that comes and goes, he proves he's not a natural goal scorer, and you understand the clamour for Lawrence Shankland that the Rangers fans have. But purely and simply finance, could Rangers actually buy Lawrence Shankland? Because the way that Philippe Clement spoke yesterday, your answer to that would have to be no, they couldn't.
well, I suppose his illness today means that if he was to move to another Scottish team, he wouldn't be cup tied in the next round. There you go.
Yeah. Who's cynical? Who's cynical now?
He is sick. He's unwell. Come on, come on.
If that was Hibs today in the Scottish Cup, would he have been there?
So cynical, honestly.
Would he have been
disappointed
there?
in
He
you.
would have been.
Disappointed in you all. Bit of a stoppage in play. Dumbarton 0, Rangers 0. Who have we not heard from yet? What about victorious Derek McInnes?
Brilliant start. Listen, when the draw was made, it's such a tough cup tie for both teams. You know, you see other games and a bit more simplistic on paper, and you know, as daft as it sounds, although we got off to such a strong start, I thought we looked a wee bit rusty. Maybe not quite game ready, but when you actually look back on it, it's we scored two very good goals, get ourselves in front, and then you know, we allowed Dundee maybe a wee bit more territory than we would have hoped. We dealt well, I think, with Dundee's threats along throws. Big Joe Shaughnessy comes up and throws them from both sides of the pitch, and you've got to stand up to it. They're a big side, and they're quite productive off their set plays, so that side of the game I was really pleased with. But we're just all a bit rushed and a bit frantic, and it's almost as if we were trying to score every time we got the ball. You know, you can't. We just needed to make a few more better decisions on the ball, bring a bit of calmness to it. This season we've beaten all the best teams in Scotland, and you know, we've shown that on our day we've got a performance in us that can beat anybody. So it's important that we have the confidence to deal with cup ties, and regardless where it takes you, whether it's away at some obscure place, challenging place, or whether your favourites for a game at home, it's important that we have the motivation, the intention, the confidence to try and go all the way. The intention is to try and get Hampton, of course.
Speaks well, team plays well, they'll do well. No one will want Kilmarnock in the draw tomorrow night. It's another good afternoon at the office for Derek McInnes.
I like that, the way a manager, you know, sets out his stall there. Our intention is to get to Hampden, rather than we'll see who we get in the next round and we're just going along one game at a time. Derek's intentions are clear, where he wants his team to finish in the league this season. He keeps going on about getting a top 6 mentality and think that way throughout the season. Now he's talking about getting to Hampden for the semi-final or a final of a cup. Kilmarnock fans will love hearing things like that from their manager.
There's certain things in football are just like guaranteed, and that Ivan Toney just scored for Brentford.
Did he really?
An
penalty
absolute
kick?
certainty. No, I don't think it was.
He's
actually
a great penalty kick taker.
But he has scored. Rangers are actually playing quite well, if that is that the right expression, Gordon. Under the circumstances, they're creating loads of chances. They look comfortable, but they're just not taking them.
I think Clement will be pleased with the way they've went about their business, but I think he'll be a wee bit disappointed they've not in the lead, Gordon. 22, 23 on the clock. They're certainly bossing the possession. They're knocking the ball about well. They're using the width of the pitch, getting some nice quality balls in, and they're looking for Dessers to get on the end of it. And obviously that first important goal, it just sucks the life out of Dumbarton. That's what they're looking for.
Did you hear the story of Ivan Toney and the tattoo?
No.
He's got
a Hugh Keevins tattoo.
No, regrettably, no. 11:59. What do you think that means?
A minute to 12.
Yeah. And underneath it, even the longest day comes to an end.
Oh, how poetic.
It's all been very dramatic. You know, the picture of him as well looked like he had done 15 years for some serious crime. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like it was a picture straight out of some sort of Hollywood jail. But anyway,
just don't gamble, mate, in football.
We've got enough drama on our hands in the Scottish Cup, and with we've reached the quarter point of this game in Dumbarton. The weather's horrendous and it's still goalless, but Rangers very much creating. You can look at it two ways, Gordon. This is going terribly for Cyril Dessers, or they're getting so many chances, surely he scores one.
I'm expecting him, if he stays on the park for 70 minutes, to score this afternoon. They're creating too many chances. He's got to get on the end of one, Gordon. Dumbarton will tire. Rangers are moving him about, creating chances. As I say, if he can get a bit of composure about himself, he'll get on the goal scoring sheet this afternoon.
Final thoughts on I'm sorry, every time it cuts back to that camera and he's suddenly wiped the lens, it looks so different. Final thoughts on Bucky tomorrow, Mark Wilson, and everything that game entails?
Well, Bucky will go along, have a great day out, no doubt, and reap the rewards financially for it. But for Celtic, it's about getting their players up to speed. As I mentioned earlier, they didn't have any close season friendlies. They will take this one to get the fitness in the legs, and it'll be a comfortable win for Celtic on the day.
Dumbarton venturing into the Rangers box, but I don't think it's going to come to anything. How would you sum up the day's football so far, Hugh Keevins?
Big winners, Partick Thistle 3-0 at Ross County. Big losers, 1/4 of
Dumbarton within inches of scoring. I think it's a wonder save from Robbie McCrory, maybe an instinctive one that just kind of hit off him. But Dumbarton very close to shocking Rangers and opening the scoring. Sorry, Hugh, I'm sure you won't mind.
No, of course not. It is a great save from Robbie McCrory.
Off his face.
Doesn't matter which part of your body, as long as you keep it out. Big winners, Partick Thistle. Well done to Chris Doolan and Brian Graham. And big losers, 1/4 of the Premiership not in the draw tomorrow. St Johnstone, Ross County, Dundee. Don't turn up, don't get through.
We're not done yet. It looked for long stretches as if Rangers would definitely cruise through in this one, and they may well still do, but Dumbarton have just showed that you never know. Still goalless in this one. Celtic against Bucky will round it off tomorrow, the draw tomorrow evening, and then we'll be back to reflect on it all on Monday night from 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's the GBX up next.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. So here's something to bring some sunshine to your day. Right now, you can save £50 per person. Escape to the sun-soaked beaches of Turkey, Mallorca and Lanzarote with award-winning VIP customer service. Don't miss out. Book now with just a £60 deposit per person. Jet2 Holidays. Package holidays you can trust. Abtra Natural Protected. Subject to availability and conditions.